Each workshop is run by our approachable tutors who are all friendly, knowledgeable and are specialists in their field of expertise. Our popular courses are tailor-made to suit your needs and to help you get started with a new hobby or to advance your skills onto the next level. We keep the class sizes small to ensure you get plenty of one-to-one attention, so book early to avoid disappointment. For more information, contact our call centre or visit our website.
Did you know you can purchase incredible jewellery featuring genuine gemstones on our sister channel Gems? Come along and see what treasures you can find.
Here at Jewellery, join guest designer Debbie Bulford as she takes you on the fascinating journey of creating face canes using polymer clay. In each chapter, Debbie will guide you through how to create each part of the face. Then, with the final chapter, advance your skills and learn how to add detail and character to your piece. To get your hands on a copy, contact our call centre. Get creative with JewelleryMaker. Join guest designer Liz Welsh as she guides you through how to make beads using friendly plastic. Liz will teach you how to make an array of different shapes and patterns, including round beads, wrapped and tubular beads. DVD is packed full of inspiration and helpful hints and tips. So, to get your hands on a copy, contact our call centre on 0800 644 655. Here at JewelleryMaker, we love seeing your jewellery creations, learning about your inspiration and reading your blogs. If you write your own craft or jewellery blog, then we'd love to hear from you. Simply tweet us at jewellery_maker UK with your blog link and we'll be in touch.
Welcome to the late show here on JewelleryMaker. My name's Ed. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to make it worth your while. Don't panic, because not only do we have incredible clearance deals as well as premiere launches, but on top of that, we're joined by the wonderful Janet. How are you?
Hi, Ed. Yeah,
you all right?
I'm good, I'm good.
Yes?
Apart from sounding a bit sort of rough.
Oh, have you got a little cold?
Yeah, it's not too bad though. I feel okay, so
yeah.
Looking forward to tonight.
Maybe it's the fluctuations in the climate, because it is literally like the middle of summer today, isn't it?
Well,
it is here in the Midlands anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, it's good. So I'm looking forward to tonight though.
There we go. Oh, yes. Have you already been handed lots of treats by producer Leah?
Yeah, I've had a play already.
Oh, you're already playing. There we go. Now, the idea behind the Late Show is to provide you with add it to your order prices so that you can maximise on your 1p and p per day, but also for us to maybe clear out a few end of stock lines. And so we do that by creating wholesale bundles, which allows us to offer you these genuine gemstones at wholesale price points. Now, whenever we put a bundle together, we try to make the gemstones quite complementary, and so my producer's handed all of these bundles to our guest designer, and yes, we'll see how the inspiration flows and what we come up with as the show goes on.
Yeah.
Is that all right with you, Janet?
That's fine by me, Ed, yeah.
And also probably rely on you to give us a few beneficial ideas with certain gemstones, if that's okay.
We'll see what we can do.
Cool. Okay, well, let's get started then, shall we? Where are we going to start with our new to jewellery making bundle? Although, I have to say, this might be quite good for sort of maybe people who are starting to move along in their repertoire of jewellery making skills, and they maybe want to take up certain other disciplines like your Kumihimo. What's wrong, producer Liam? Oh, I see, there we go. Okay, now, there is a very interesting price point on this bundle, and if you're shopping online, you can already see the price point. No? Ah, okay, now we're going to do the reduction live on screen to give everybody an equal opportunity to get involved. The first thing I've got to talk about is the sticky bead mat. This has proved to be one of the most important and popular products that we've ever stocked here at JewelleryMaker, and you can sort of understand why. Often the value within your jewellery designs is going to be held within the gemstones themselves, and you don't really want them pinging off all over the room and losing them. The sticky bead mat is the solution for this, well, I think global problem really for jewellery makers. I think everybody's experienced losing a gemstone. Some of them are really intricate, aren't they, of course, and when they're gone, it's quite difficult to find them. Now this has the exact same sort of a design concept as our original beading mat, which everybody relies on every day here at JewelleryMaker. However, it's got this adhesive quality. I will say there is no adhesive on the surface of the actual sticky mat. There's no residue, there's nothing that you can feel, but it is sticky. You won't lose anything. And so it has proved to be very, very popular. It's perfect for keeping all of your parts together, and of course it's got the usual measurements that you find on our normal bead mat, so it makes the actual design process a little bit easier as well. There you go, you can see all the little numbers there. And it has proved to be very, very popular. I think the first time it was launched it was a sell-out deal, in fact. We have managed to get more in stock. This is actually a Beadsmith item, and Beadsmith considered to be, you know, pretty much the most credible manufacturer of jewellery making tools, I would have thought. Well, there's a couple, but they're definitely up there with the sort of Rolls-Royce of that particular industry. So this is your sticky bead mat, and normally this would set you back $12.95. Most people seeing that as an absolute bargain because it makes your life so much easier. And I think once people have got hold of this, they wonder how they ever made jewellery without it. Is that fair enough to say? Sam's nodding along. Sam's on cameras tonight. She's a jewellery maker and she loves her sticky bead mat. Is that right?
Yes, definitely. I've always had them fall in, especially gems of distinction. It's gutting when a sapphire runs.
Oh, right, okay.
That's gone.
Sam's just saying it's rather disappointing, upsetting. She's going as far as saying it's upsetting when you lose a gems of distinction sapphire under the sofa. The sticky bead mat is the solution for that problem, but this is a wholesale bundle. We have put together your little mini Kumihimo disc, perfect for perhaps creating jewellery designs on the move, and of course maybe more affordable items, because the braiding techniques tend to be more cost effective to create. Of course, they take a little bit less time, depending on how intricate your weave is. And so you can actually maybe bulk out your collection of jewellery by creating Kumihimo designs using your disc. And on top of that, your long chain nose pliers, sorry. There we go, easy for me to say. And you've got that comfortable grip. Normally, all of these collectively will be $21.85. Tonight, we've got a clearance price for you. This is for anybody who maybe wants to get started. $11.95. That's less than you'd normally pay for the sticky mat alone.
Wow. That's great, isn't it? That's a great price.
The sticky mat, the sticky bead mat, is normally $12.95. You can have that and your mini Kumihimo disc and these essential long chain nose pliers for $11.95. We've already had a web comment from one of our guest designers. It says, "Hiya, this is fabulous for catching and holding on to all your bits of wire. Then rub them off and wash it." Perfect, there you go. So it's not just about keeping your gemstones and your component parts safe. Actually, it keeps everything tidy as well, because they all stick to it, and then you haven't got them all over your carpet. Oh, unfortunately, half the stock's already been allocated on this. You can understand, really. This is our way of flexing our value muscles, of providing you with the most competitive pricing on the market. Normally, the bead mat alone would be $12.95. Tonight, the entire bundle, $11.95. Actually, it's funny, I've focused heavily on the sticky bead mat because I know its popularity, but I have to say, the mini Kumihimo disc flies out the door whenever it's on the show as well, doesn't it? This is really, really popular. As I mentioned, perfect for making jewellery designs on the move as well. So if you're on a train or you're in the car, you can still use your mini Kumihimo disc. Do you like that, Janet?
I think everything there is useful.
Okay.
No matter sort of what you do. I mean, Kumihimo discs, you might already have one. But if you're doing multiple projects, especially if you're doing a project with lots and lots of strands, but you want to just do a quick bracelet or something, you don't want to be taking it off off the board and then starting again. So that's perfect. And those long chain nose pliers are really perfect as well, because they're quite sharp.
I can tell you that right now there's a bit of a Mardi Gras going on in my ear in the gallery, because my director said the exact words at the same time as you said, but what about if you've got multiple projects? And then you said it, and he's celebrating his knowledge of jewellery making by dancing around the gallery. Now normally Bruce is a man of few words, but he's excited that he's now starting to become a jewellery maker. There's no way around it. This is the whole point of this hobby. We were talking about this before the show, weren't we, and how it becomes a bit more of an addiction than a hobby.
It definitely is. I think it's sort of, once you start jewellery making, it sort of takes over.
Yes.
You know, you're a jewellery maker first and foremost then.
Absolutely. You were saying that people tend to have jewellery maker on in the background just in case we do a deal like this and you don't want to miss out on it.
When I'm at home, it's always on in the background just in case I sort of miss anything. You know, I don't want to miss anything. So
we like to think of ourselves as your friend in the living room, so you know, even if you're not fully focused on what I'm saying because you're making a piece of jewellery, look up once in a while, because we might just be doing something a little bit ridiculous like this, taking this new to jewellery making bundle to a price point that's a little bit uncomprehendable really, because the mat alone would normally be $12.95 or 3 for $11.95, and we were talking last night about how much you can pay for pliers from other suppliers.
Yeah, you could pay that price for the pliers.
For the pliers alone.
Else. And I think it's new to jewellery maker, but I think somebody who's already established and got tools, you know, I wouldn't say no to that little bundle.
I almost think I'm actually looking at this and thinking, is it more of a sort of intermediate jewellery makers bundle? Because of course once you've actually got started, once you've got one of your kits and maybe you've got your tools, your essential toolkit, you still might need an extra pair of long chain nose pliers. Why can't I say that? And you're probably going to want to start doing a little bit of braiding work like Kumihimo. And then you've got the sticky bead mat as well, so you might start off with the normal bead tray, but the sticky bead mat's going to be a little bit more useful, I should say. And all of that for $11.95 is fantastic. I'll tell you what this would be perfect for: a gift for a jewellery maker.
Yes,
because of course, if you yes please, Janet says. What I was thinking is, if you don't know what someone's discipline necessarily is, or what gemstones they're passionate about, these are all generic items that are going to be useful for any jewellery maker. So maybe someone's got a birthday coming up, maybe you're starting to plan for Christmas and there's a jewellery maker in your house, simply dial the free phone number and you can add this to your order for $11.95, and that's one ticked off the list potentially. In fact, Michelle has text through to say the Kumihimo discs are really handy. I have 7 discs and at the moment have 4 projects on the go. Exactly right. And when we were joined by Sarah Elvin last week, who is one of our Kumihimo experts, she was saying that she's got around about 12 Kumihimo projects going on at any one time, so she could never live with just one single disc. So great point. Thanks Bruce for that insight. Sorry Janet, I couldn't resist. Okay, we're going to leave that one with you because about 3/4 of the stock has now been allocated. Still a few available, and of course they'll be available for the next 60 minutes, at which point you won't be able to add it to your order. So act now to avoid disappointment. I'm going to get started immediately now with a few clearance deals. As I mentioned previously, we try to put together wholesale bundles that allow you to maximise on the value that we offer you, and this is no exception. This is Rainbow Moonstone, a very popular gemstone. It is in fact a birthstone. It's June's birthstone, and regular collectors will be aware of that, but I have to say it's one of those gemstones I think sort of transcends birthstone jewellery, because people do become a little bit impassioned about this once they see the optical phenomenon within, and this is a particularly impressive sample, because hopefully I'm going to be able to get this across to you. There is a genuine little rainbow in there. There you go. That's exactly what you want to see in your Rainbow Moonstone. Now, traditionally you'll see the blue tones. That's where Angular Essence normally starts and ends, but when you get very high quality Rainbow Moonstone, you will be able to see these spectrums of colour, and that's exactly what we've got for you this evening. Look at that: gold, green, orange, In fact, Richard of York gave battle in vain in that one, didn't he? There you go, fantastic. That's exactly what you're looking for. And I think when people start to experience that optical effect known as adulorescence, that's when they become, I think, enthusiastic about owning genuine gemstones. And actually, as we were touching upon just a moment ago, it almost becomes a little bit obsessive because people want to develop their personal gemstone collection. So not just jewellery makers, but your buyers as well will start to develop a passion and a knowledge for gemstones and gemology. And it's one of those topics that, you know, once you start to learn something, you just want to know more and more and more. And we were talking about this as well, weren't we, before the show, and saying that, you know, education's a huge part of selling your own jewellery. So once you start to talk to your customers about the different sort of scientific aspects, I suppose, of gemstones, that's when people really start to buy into the quality.
Right, and I mean, since I've been with JewelleryMaker and since I've been watching JewelleryMaker, I've learnt such a lot about the gemstones that I'm working with. And it's great to have that knowledge so that you can pass that on to your customers.
Absolutely.
And you can open dialogue with people. If they pick something up and say, oh, that's really pretty, you can start to tell them about the gemstone, about the history of the gemstone, and it just adds that story, and it just makes it a little bit more special.
Yeah, and I suppose it makes them feel a little bit more confident in parting with their cash as well, of course.
And if you sort of know what you're talking about, you know the gemstones that you're working with, and you know some of the history, that sort of gives them confidence that you know what you're doing, you're a professional at what you do. And yeah, I think you know, knowledge is power. Absolutely.
Well, normally these gems of distinction strands of moonstone would cost $14.95 each. So a combined price of $29.90, but we're not going to stay there this evening. This is a clearance double deal, and by doubling up on the strands, we can offer you this incredible price point. Normally $14.95 for one, tonight $17.95 for two. That is awesome. That means that you're getting a strand of rainbow moonstone essentially for £3 as part of this deal, of course. And I have to say, we're just talking about there the history attached to a gemstone and how that often tends to make people feel a little bit more special about what they're investing in. This is a hugely historical gemstone set into jewellery design since 100 AD, and of course that gorgeous enigmatic quality that you get from an optical effect, specifically when you see this play of colour inside the gemstone. I mean, you know, you couldn't get that from a synthetic. Only Mother Nature's going to be able to create that effect, and that is absolutely out of this world. You'd be hard pushed to find greater adulorescence in a rainbow moonstone than you've got here on this strand. A little bit difficult to show you it on each and every gemstone. I have to sort of take them one at a time to show you it, and that's purely due to our studio lighting. Of course, generally gemstones are going to react better to having one single light source, and that's why we offer you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get this home, see it in the flesh, fall in love with the gemstone, and then make an informed decision. If you're trying to make an assessment about an optical phenomenon within a gemstone through your TV screen in our studio lighting, it is going to be a little bit difficult, it's going to be a little bit muted, but here I can tell you this particular sample is awash with a rainbow of adulorescence. It's available right now at $17.95, but as ever, the clearance price only available for 60 minutes. Oh, now this is going to prove to be very, very popular. Now this is, I think I would probably classify this as lavender amethyst, in all honesty. It's somewhere in the middle between the traditional purple amethyst that we'd associate with the gemstone and the pink amethyst we saw last night. So I think, you know, because it's not traditional amethyst, and because you do get a very feminine hue, I mean, you can see here there's a few that are certainly more of a pink tone than a purple. This has been classified as pink amethyst as a result, purely because it doesn't offer you the same purple intensity that you'd normally be looking for. But I think, just to be fair, and just so everybody knows what we're talking about here, I would describe it as lavender amethyst. Does that seem fair? Do you agree with that? Yeah? Okay, there we go. Janet agrees. We know we're on to a winner. And if I say it, the guest designer's going to agree. 90 carats in total. I'm laying down the gauntlet again. See if you can disagree with me tonight, Janet.
Okay.
We're left with 180 carats in total. These are faceted top drill drops, so quite easy to work with and to create traditional matching sets of jewellery, although of course the top drill drops have also been used in very innovative designs by our guest designers in the past. In fact, quite popular jewellery making motifs rely on this shape as well, don't you? So these could form gorgeous petals for a flower design perhaps, but I have to say, because they are quite broad at the base, I think they're crying out to be used as pendants and earrings actually. So keep it simple, and with a gemstone like amethyst that's so well known and so well respected, pretty much revered throughout the jewellery industry, you know that you can keep it simple. Simply put it alongside some sterling silver perhaps to really make the most of that femininity that you're getting from the lavender and pink hues here on this strand. They range in size from 9x5 to 15x6, and once again they come from our Gems of Distinction range. Normally they'd be $14.95 per strand, but we're going to match our previous price slash and these strands for just £3 this evening. $17.95 for the two. And amethyst, we always think of one of those gemstones that, because people will be aware of it, you're actually probably doing yourself a bit of a disservice if you don't have this on your craft fair stall, in your collection. If you're not working with this gemstone, people might question whether your other gemstones are genuine, because this is the one everyone's sort of aware of.
I mean, everybody knows amethyst, don't they?
Yeah.
And they're so beautiful. And like you say, you could easily just make a simple drop pendant on a chain, make perfect earrings.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think it's expected that people have amethyst.
Amethyst on their store, yeah.
You know, and I'm always drawn to amethyst because it's my favourite gemstone.
Why is that? Is that just because of your sort of longevity, is it? Just
I don't really know. I think it's the colour is, for me, is any colour of amethyst. So I don't think it can be the colour, to be honest, because green amethyst has the same draw for me.
Oh really? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know a lot about sort of. I'm not into the, you know, the sort of mystical properties or whatever of gemstones and things, but I think amethyst.
The aesthetic for you.
But it really does have a draw for me, so I don't know.
Oh, maybe there is something going on.
Yeah, there could be.
Well, it's certainly popular across the industry, not just in this country, globally. Amethyst, probably one of the biggest selling gemstones available, and right now we're giving you a clearance price, so 180 carats, $17.95. These are faceted as well, so you get that gorgeous sparkle, you get that more subtle feminine tone. I can't believe it. Bruce has only gone and done it again. Brucey boy! Now Bruce is our director tonight, very experienced man in the building. He's been working with the company for over 10 years, and he just said, this isn't pink amethyst, it's glamethyst.
Oh wow.
He's on fire!
I like that.
And is that, and it's all, he's still going. He says it's all because of the faceted briolette cut that you've got there that makes it look so glamorous and feminine.
Ooh. He's not wrong.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think we need me tonight. I'll see you later. Bruce is going to do this part of the proceedings. But you are right, aren't you? I mean, these are going to work. He just said the gemstones are talking to him and he's feeling inspired by just looking at the colour tones.
There you go. That's it. Your time.
What's happened to you, Bruce? He's becoming a jewellery designer in front of our eyes. Okay, $17.95 is the clearance price on this double strand of amethyst, so make sure you are checking out your baskets. And we're going to move on to another deal. This time, ooh. Now, do you know what? I'm actually thinking about whether these, sugar and spice, drop some gemstones. Sorry about that. I'm wondering if these could be placed along the alongside the lavender amethyst. Agreement. Look at that. That is a match made in heaven, surely.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. That just works so perfectly together because you've got those more subtle purple tones and they're just so complementary. I think one of the things that's drawing those colour tones out is the frosted finish on the rose quartz here, and of course the complete juxtaposition between the cuts. You've got this heavily faceted, gorgeous amethyst that's offering the clarity, and then you've got this more muted colour tone from the frosted finish on the rose quartz. That for me works perfectly. Janet is so shocked, she's dropping stuff and everything. Now these are your perfect rounds. We get so many requests from our customers saying that they need to stock up on their plain rounds, and I think we understand why these days, and it's because most people tend to start the hobby by working with this cut, and it's because it sort of hangs a little bit more naturally within traditional jewellery designs. Did you get along with that, Janet?
I think as a new jewellery maker and designer, a round is a perfect point to start with.
Right.
Because it'll fit into most any design really.
Yes.
But something that beautiful, they're just stunning, aren't they?
They're
just
gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I like my girly gemstones. Have I told you this before, Janet?
I've noticed.
You've heard that,
yes.
So I do like pink gemstones anyway, and I always do mention the fact that I think there might have been, I might be guilty of underestimating rose quartz when I first started to present, because I used to think of kunzite and morganite and those more traditionally prestigious gemstones as the draw, but actually for jewellery makers rose quartz is probably more prominent, isn't it?
And that, for me, they're a perfect size, because you could wire up with those, you could just put them onto a stretchy bracelet.
Absolutely.
You could just make beautiful earrings with them. They'll go with so many different gemstones as well.
Or even, I was thinking maybe, if you know, I've seen these days people starting to maybe elevate their macrame designs to just have 3 feature gemstones on the wrist line. These would work because they're a little bit larger, aren't they? They're 12mm. I think traditionally macrame bracelets normally around 6mm or 8mm. But if you have larger gemstones, you use fewer, of course.
That would be beautiful with smoky quartz.
Yes, you know what, this is actually a combination we touched upon, I think it was Thursday evening, we were talking about this.
Rose quartz and smoky quartz, for me, is just a perfect combination, isn't it?
There you go. The pinks and the browns just work perfectly together, don't they? Could be really, really popular over the coming season as well, of course, because you've got femininity and you've got the sort of earthier, more autumnal tones in your design as well. This is coming up as part of one of our money-saving bundles later in the show. Right now, we're going to give you a price slash on our rose quartz. These are the frosted 12mm rounds, normally $7.95 for 400 carats. Tonight, 800 carats, but we're still taking it under £10. That's the equivalent of buy one, get one for £2. Very, very impressive. People might be under the misapprehension that if you want to create high-end jewellery design, you need to have a faceted gemstone. But I always think the highly polished finish looks just as high-end for me. That's how I feel.
I think it's nice to have sort of lots of different textures and different finishes in your designs.
That's true.
And the frosted is really beautiful because that colour is really muted, and but like you say, if you put that then with sort of a faceted gemstone, you've got that contrast, and it just adds depth to your designs there.
Well, the smoky quartz in the faceted rounds, that, as you were saying, that worked, didn't it? And we also saw the sort of lavender or pink amethyst, those were faceted and those worked together. So
adding different textures with the gemstones is a perfect way to add interest to your design.
So I think one of the key aspects of jewellery design is sort of layering the ideas and the textures within your design, isn't it? And this certainly allows you to do that. This looks like it's going to be a sellout, so anybody that's got that in their basket needs to check out now to avoid disappointment. And we've still got people coming through on the free phone number as well. So good luck to everybody on that particular deal. It is proving to be very, very popular. Of course, the feminine colours are always going to be big sellers. And we're going to squeeze one more in before we bring you another star buy. And this time we're going for the blues rather than the pinks. And this is fantastic. Now, again, sodalite might have been a gemstone that I used to underestimate, but jewellery makers have left me with a completely different view. This is hugely popular, and I think My understanding now is that it's because it goes with so many other gemstones and so many different outfits, it almost has a denim-like quality to the colour tone and the patterning that you find on the surface of the gemstone. This is quite interesting because despite the fact that it is an opaque gemstone, sodalite, still adds a lot to the gemstone when you facet it in this way. So you get that, it's a bit more of a subtle sparkle, isn't it? This could be more suitable for maybe everyday pieces of jewellery, just pairs of earrings perhaps, because you've got the droplet style and they're through drilled as well, so that makes earring designs and cluster-like designs.
They're beautiful colour though, aren't they?
Oh, they're gorgeous.
I think they remind me of sort of old porcelain, like the blue and the white porcelain.
Absolutely, sort of Wedgwood style,
yeah, that sort of
pottery,
thing.
yes.
But they just make sort of, they make great everyday jewellery, because if you've got jeans and a shirt on or something, perfect for that. But with that faceting and that sparkle to them as well, make beautiful evening jewellery as well. So really, really versatile.
I think that's the key word that I'm picking up on at the moment with any of our bundles or our gemstone strands or even our component pieces. It's all about versatility. Yeah. Because of course all the jewellery makers out there are going to have completely different styles. You're going to be dedicating your skills to different genres and disciplines within jewellery making, and so we need something that's going to fit the bill for everyone, and I think these do just that. Normally $7.95 per strand, and here we've doubled it up now. As ever, the only problem with creating our double deals is that we do reduce our stock levels. Should normally be $7.95 for one strand, tonight $9.95 for two, so that means that you're getting 320 carats for less than £10. And the way we do this is that we're part of the Genuine Gemstone Company, and so we try to get as close to source as possible. In some occasions we actually own our own mine across the world, and that allows us to source gemstones at very, very competitive prices. We pass those savings on to you. We're dedicated to providing you with the highest possible quality we can source for the lowest possible prices, and I think everybody in the company is passionate about making genuine gemstones more accessible, about giving everybody the opportunity to own these items, which I think traditionally have been considered a little bit maybe elitist or out of people's price range, but these days we're giving you the same opportunities that everybody else has. You know, and even the master jewelers sometimes struggle to get hold of some of the gemstones we bring you here on JewelleryMaker. We've seen you know, people who've been in the industry for 20, 30 years saying they've never had the opportunity to work with chrome dioxide or tanzanite, these kind of gemstones, but we have them fairly regularly here on JewelleryMaker. And of course, the more readily available gemstones we are now able to take to clearance prices. 2 strands of sodalite for less than £10. I've got buyers coming through all across the UK as well as America and the continent, so that just goes to highlight the value we offer you. Moving on, because it's star buy time. Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time for a star buy. We're going to have one of these every 30 minutes or so here on the Late Show, and it will either give us the opportunity to launch a premiere strand, and we do have a couple coming up, I'll let you know about those in just 1 second, or we might put together another wholesale bundle. But when it's a star buy, you know we're going to go above and beyond. So regular buyers, you know what to do. Start dialing now. You're not going to be disappointed with the star buy price point. And we always tend to bring you very sought after gemstones. Now here, you've got 3 very vibrant colour tones coming to you from your magnesite. And I think one of the reasons that magnesite is so popular with jewellery makers is that it is very affordable, and it tends to come in these very bold colour tones, and that's because magnesite takes on the dyes so brilliantly, the dye agents that we use. Now, you're not going to have any problem with this. The dye's never going to come off the surface of the gemstone. We've had that problem a few years ago, but it's a completely different dyeing process that we use these days, so you're never going to have that problem. But if you ever do find that, then simply take sort of lukewarm water on a cloth, just wipe it across the strand. You'll take the excess dye off the outer edge of the strand, so never going to have that problem, but shouldn't happen with your Magnesite anyway. And here I have to say, I'm going to talk about the colour tones first, because they're very tropical, I would say. That's how I would describe them. You've got basically a sort of amethyst purple there, very regal purple tone. Then you've got your tangerine wheels there, and these are 12 by 3 millimeters in size. They're quite sizable, but I mean, I'm just seeing simple bracelet designs with those, because it's so fluid as well, the actual strand.
And you get so many on there as well.
Yes. So you can actually, I suppose you can put some spacers in there, and you can make them go even further if you wanted to.
Definitely.
In fact, you could even use one of these smaller cuts as your spacer bead, because you've got this beautiful golden tone here, the yellow Magnesite there, and these wheels are, these are 6 by 2, these are 6 by 3, so very, very slightly larger. But actually, you know, Cheryl Cole, she'd wear that as a bracelet, wouldn't she? A little colour blocking design. Actually, the oranges and yellows look rather fantastic together. And we know that purple and gold work, because that's a very sort of classic combination, isn't it? The purples and the yellows. So all of these work together, really, don't they? In whichever combination you want to use them. Maybe. Actually, do you know what? This is sometimes people don't realise how useful these more vivid colour tones are until they get them home and start working with them. Talking to a workshop attendee not too long ago, and she got hold of some of our, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but sort of neon, I think it was agate, was it? Or it might have been, was it shell actually? Was that Ben who's just said that? Give yourself a coconut. Yes, we had some neon yellow shell pearl, some little rounds, and we put them into a 10-strand bundle. And this is something that a customer had never considered, but it was almost like high-V, a gemstone. She said now she can't work without it, because it sort of took her in a new direction of jewellery making. So sometimes when you look at the very bold colour tones, if you think, oh, those wouldn't suit my designs, it might actually open up your horizons as far as your design goes. So you never know. And of course, we're going to give you a star buy price, so you shouldn't dismiss these until you've actually seen them in the flesh, particularly when you look at Janet's gorgeous designs. Now, this particular bundle was given to Janet earlier on when she arrived at the studios.
Do you want me to bring them over?
What do you want us to do? Should we bring them over or just get a shot? Okay, they're just going to get a shot of them.
Okie doke.
No problem. There you go, look at this, because quite contemporary designs and different opportunities because of the disc-like shape you've got there. Yeah,
you can just have them flat together and, like you say, strand them, or you can sort of have them face on and sort of stretch them out, and they'll go a really, really long way.
Absolutely.
But they're just so beautiful to work with. And like you say, purple and gold, so the little bracelet has just got some little head pins, wrapped head pin. The
bracelet's fantastic because it really does look almost like evening wear, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, there's lots of ways that you can use these strands. And I would say, as you said before, because of the colour, the bold colour, sometimes it's good to sort of stretch yourself as a designer and just go for it. But the orange is beautiful.
Have you used the head pins as the spaces there to create a little bit of character in that? Those head pins are coming up as our superstar buy this evening. We've got heart-shaped head pins and star-shaped head pins.
Yep, that's what I've used.
You've made them a real feature of the design.
All I've done is roll them.
I'm here. I'm going to jump over and speak to Janet, actually. Is that all right? Yes, of course. Sorry, don't get my camera. I'm coming over. I'm coming over, Janet. Here we go. Yeah. So these head pins are coming up later on this evening at around about 10 to 9.
And they're beautiful to work with.
Yeah.
So all I've done is roll them, just done a rolled head pin and just threaded the beading thread through and added the gemstones onto them.
That's gorgeous because it gives a whole new dimension to the design as well, rather than using traditional spaces.
Sorry, because it's got the heart on there as well, it just adds that sort of design feature, and the heart, the face of the heart sort of catches the light as you move in, so it's really...
Yeah, so you get a traditional metallic shimmer, you get that traditional sort of iconic shape within jewellery design in the heart, and you get the gold. It's almost elevating the magnesite into an evening design, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. I'm being told we've got to get the price on screen. Oh, no wonder we had so many people on the phone lines. 3 strands for $7.95, and of course, sometimes you do need a little injection of colour into a design, don't you? You might not even recognise it until you look down at your gemstone stash. And
so I would say to anybody who's sort of thinking, oh, they're a bit bright for me, it depends what you put them in. That necklace, because they're sort of spread out, I would wear that with the orange and the purple. I just think it's really, I think that's really stunning together. I
mean, this matching set here from the orange tones. Orange for me is a big colour in the fall season. Yeah. And so, you know, it's not exactly sort of really high impact, is it? You've only used 3 gemstones. You've got a matching set of jewellery, and I suppose at that price point, only using 3 gemstones and a couple of head pins. $7.95. That's crazy. I mean, you could probably do the whole set for £5 and still be in profit. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily want to devalue your designs, but
again, that's the head pins from the. I've made the earring.
Yes, you've turned the little star head pin into the earring finding. So these are very versatile head pins then.
So I would say if you've got this bundle of gemstones and you get the bundle of head pins, if you just want to sit and make earrings, you make hundreds of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we were talking about craft fairs earlier on today, and when we talked to Mark Smith about craft fairs, he always says that he takes a range of about 400 different pairs of earrings, but might be quite interesting idea to actually have these gemstones and your head pins on your store and let people select their own design for your earring designs, because that ends up becoming a real selling point, doesn't it?
And it's nice to get people to sort of you know, interact with you, and people can select which gemstone they want, which head pin, if it's a star, a heart, or whatever they want, and get exactly what they want. And I think to offer that service to your customers is brilliant. Yeah,
because not only are you giving them a bespoke piece of jewellery, but they've been involved in the design process. So that's a massive selling point. These are flying out the door at $7.95, but I have to warn you, if you're not checking out your baskets as ever, you could miss out. Thank you so much, Janet. I'm going to jump back over here now. I just got excited about Janet's design, so I had to go and see her. I'm going to put these back in the right dishes. That's a star, it's a heart, that's a heart. Okay, now I'm going to leave that to one side, and I'll just let everybody know about the strand that we have coming up. Oh, it's only about 15 minutes before our next star buy, so not long to wait for this. These are the browns and the blues. We actually saw this strand of smoky quartz alongside our frosted rose quartz earlier on, and we were saying that's a great combination, the pinks and browns, but blues and browns as well. Classic combination. And oh, this is my brainchild, is it? I apparently suggested these colour tones. Well, in that case, it definitely works. This is coming up in 15 minutes' time, another wholesale deal. And we're going to move on. So we have another essential tool for you now. This is the Mini Wags Y-Cone. Now, I remember there was a bit of a stir in the building the day the Mini Wags Y-Cone was launched. It is a very, very popular tool with wire workers, but actually, as I say, I think jewellery makers these days starting to maybe open up their horizons. Even if wire work's not necessarily your focus, it does allow you to create a different finish to your designs, doesn't it, Janet? Yeah.
And the Wags Y-Cone, it's such a simple idea, but it's so useful.
Yes.
I haven't actually got the mini one. But that would be, I mean, imagine just a little Wags Y-Cone and just a bead from it to make perfect earrings.
I was thinking the lavender amethyst, because they're a little bit larger, some of those on your earrings. You can create that very traditional.
And you could do that really easily then. If you're not confident in wire wrapping the gemstones, it's really easy just to do a little cone with the Wags Y-Cone, and then put a bit of wire through the gemstone, through the cone, and make a little loop and onto an earring finding.
Perfect. So there you go. Makes life much easier. And again, we did touch upon this last night. We're just saying that these professional tools not only provide you with a more professional finish to your design, but they also help people to really raise their own confidence in what they're working with. If you've got the right tool for the job, you're a little bit more confident in your approach to your design, aren't you?
And it just makes things a lot easier. And if you are selling, you've got to, time has got to factor into your designs. So if you've got a tool that's going to do the job really quickly,
very true,
you know, that helps you to pass on that sort of time saving to your customers.
Yes, absolutely. This is a key consideration for a lot of jewellery makers. The amount of time you put into your design can affect the price point that you need to achieve. And of course, if you have the tool to make that process a little bit easier, then you can potentially create more affordable jewellery designs that are always going to sell more easily. I would never suggest that anybody should devalue their design. I mean, don't start taking the price down, because of course that actually can damage your credibility as a designer. But you know, a few pounds here and there can seriously affect the amount of sales you make. I can actually show you the effect of the wax white cone on this high-end design here. I mean, this is like a boutique style design. I'll show you the front first and you can see, you know, this has been made by a very competent wire worker, very confident in what they wanted to achieve, of course. And you can see here the sort of the Viking knit on the neckline, but the wax white cone to secure the end of the design. So even the absolute wirework experts rely on the wax white cone to create this very traditional finish to their designs, don't they?
It's just a way of finishing off something really professionally. And if Kumihimo as well, to finish the ends of Kumihimo.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So, you know, it crosses across all mediums.
Because those bell-shaped clasps are what you traditionally use, but of course we never really tend to have a lot of those in stock, or they come in quite limited findings packs or what have you. It's the exact same concept.
And you can make findings as well then to colour coordinate with whatever you're working with as well.
Good point.
So if you want, say, a blue finish on your Kumihimo, you can make it with blue wire.
Brilliant.
So, you know,
I didn't even think of that. So yes, it's actually opening up a whole world of different finishes, because of course you're not limited to the traditional metallic tones.
That's
if you've got a coloured wire, you can do it with your wax white cone. It's $8.95, and as ever, it is proving to be very, very popular. So get on the lines quickly for that one. We're going to move on, and we've got an essential finding for you now. These are quite delicate eye pins. They're quite small, but of course reduces your wastage if you are working with a smaller gemstone cut, because you don't have to cut half the eye pin away. These are 15mm in size, in fact, and you get 50 of these in total. Now these are gold-plated sterling silver. I always refer to that as high-end on top of high-end, because of course 95 sterling silver is considered almost the benchmark for handmade jewellery designs. But when you've got the gold-plated variety, you really are taking your design into another stratosphere. In fact, we're expecting to see a bit of a hike in the price of gold in the coming year or so, because we're not finding new deposits of this precious metal, and it's actually in demand in other industries as well. I think it's quite useful in technological industries and stuff, so gold's becoming a little bit scarce. But when you can actually offer your customers this kind of precious metal, it makes them feel special about the piece of luxury jewellery they're investing in. They know they're dealing with a very professional jewellery maker, and they know they're getting the best of the best, gold-plated sterling silver. These are your 15mm eye pins, and you get 50 of them as part of this particular deal. If you want to get involved, it's an essential for all jewellery makers. Start dialing that free phone number right now. I can already see people adding this to their basket at JewelleryMaker.com. Oh, and that explains why. And add it to your order price. Now, as I say, I don't know what's going to happen in the industry. I don't have a crystal ball or a time machine or anything. But, you know, just based on the industry trends that I've experienced over the last few years working within the industry, and I have to say, not only do you see a rise in price when something becomes a little bit harder to come by and becomes a little bit rarer, but it also tends to become a little bit more sought after as well. So the rarer something becomes, the more people want it. It's just the way it goes in the jewellery industry, and I assure you that if there is ever a huge increase in the price in gold, it's all anybody will want to invest in. So they'll walk into your craft fair store and they won't be interested in silver anymore, because nobody can get hold of gold. It's just the way the sort of buying patterns tend to occur in this industry. And so if I were you, I would stock up on my gold-plated sterling silver while you have the chance at this price point. I think that here at JewelleryMaker, we aim to be your one-stop shop for all your jewellery making needs. So I think we'll always try to get gold-plated silver findings in stock, but I can't guarantee these prices. $6.95 for 50 gold-plated sterling silver eye pins, 50mm in length, and all for just $6.95. That is what I would describe as an add it to your order price. If you've already got your P&P up and running, you paid your $2.95 for today, you know you're going to need, oh hello, not yet, a few minutes. You know you're going to need the findings, so just $6.95. I've got to move on. It looks like another sellout deal. Whenever I say that, don't take my word for it. Speak to a member of the help team, because I can never be sure about the stock levels. They fluctuate in our system, and I can't even see it. I'm just basing it on what I hear. So we're going to give you another essential finding now, this time your head pins. Now these are your traditional head pins, rather than the items that give you, you know, those little bits of character like the hearts and the stars that are coming up at the end of the show. These are more traditional. These are your ball head pins. Although they can give a certain dimension to your designs, because of course those sort of clustered gemstone designs tend to actually bring that metallic tone out of the little ball head pin, don't they? Once the gemstone's placed on the end of the head pin, actually adds to the design, doesn't it?
And if you want to make sort of like a bubble bracelet or a bubble ring, then to have that sort of just on the outside of the bead will catch the light and
Janet,
just
I'm
add.
so glad you just said that. I made a reference to that kind of bracelet yesterday, 24 hours ago, and I couldn't remember the name of it. I was like, oh, the ones. It was like giving us anything to go on their head. The bubble bracelet.
On you.
Especially as it is rose gold.
Yeah.
So that, again, adds value to your design. A lot of designers tell me that when they're selling their designs, people actually expect to pay a premium when they see the words 925 sterling silver.
Yeah.
In fact, some people almost sort of making a beeline away from someone's store when they see it, because they think they're going to have to pay a really high price point. When you start to show them the prices you can achieve based on buying from us here at JewelleryMaker, well, they're unlikely to invest in these base metal designs on other stores, so it can actually give you the edge. And it is quite competitive in the craft fair environments these days. Sam's been attending a few, haven't you? You've said that people are there at the crack of dawn setting up.
Most people are actually allergic to some types, so this is perfect.
Good point, actually, because this is sterling silver, and of course you've got the precious metal on top in rose gold. If people are unable to wear the base metals like copper or the bronze, for example, this is where it's at. Sterling silver, but rose gold plated, again providing you with versatility in as much as you get a little bit of warmth from your rose gold, or that little bit of femininity. I always think perfect for sort of vintage style designs, rose gold.
Yeah, I think rose gold goes with sort of anything really, doesn't it? You know,
I think what it's great for as well is matching up with other metallic tones. I think rose gold works with yellow gold, it works with silver, whereas that's a little bit more of a clash, the yellow gold and the silver. Rose gold, almost your transitional metal. You actually get 20, and these are 45mm in length here, so a little bit more scope for working with your larger gemstones. And here comes your price point. Wow. Another add it to your order price, just $6.95. The reason I say that, of course, 1 P&P per day. So if you've already been inspired to invest in one of our kits, or maybe Debbie showed you something you hadn't occurred to you previously, and you've got your order up and running, you can take advantage of that deal right now by adding these essential items, but in precious metals, for $6.95. We're going to move on, and we're going to bring you, now this is, for my money, another essential, because we always talk about the idea of using green as a sort of base tone, just like Mother Nature does, and saying it can go with so many other colour tones. And I suppose this is offering you that very rich, almost emerald green tone, but you'd be hard pushed to get emeralds in this kind of carat weight, I suppose. 135 carats here, and quite sizable. They're 14 by 10mm in size, Love the way they've been checkerboard faceted, because that's a very traditional cut and facet, isn't it? That's what people would associate with sort of cocktail rings, if you like, that kind of look. These are absolutely gorgeous.
Make a perfect ring, wouldn't it? Sorry,
everyone's distracted because we can hear somebody blowing up balloons somewhere.
Is that what it is?
That's what it sounds like. We don't know who it is. The balloon man's in again. Okay. Green quartz here. Gorgeous emerald green tone, checkerboard faceting. Could be perfect for your festive designs as well, because green always tends to be a little bit popular at the party season, doesn't it?
They're really lovely, aren't they? But for me, I see rings when I see that.
Rings?
Yeah, definitely.
So just keep it simple, sort of solitaire rings? Or?
Yeah, you could do it as a solitaire ring, or then you could add some smaller gemstones maybe.
Yes, so might
some smaller gemstones into, you know, around.
I mean, if you did want to go down the sort of festive, you could use a sort of a garnet rondelle, and then you've got the reds and greens there. That would be quite nice. I made
a ring a few weeks ago, and I used a malachite cabochon. And there were some red gemstones I can't remember, and did just that, a green stone with a couple of reds, they look like berries with them. So a combination of those two together.
Oh yeah, because this could be your holly leaf.
Yeah.
And then those could be your berries. Okay, I'm going to have to get the price on screen because we are going to give you a price reduction this evening, and these are already flying out the door. Currently available for $8.95. We're going to take this down to the lowest possible price we can bring you here on our live shows, down to $6.95 for over 100 carats of beautiful green quartz. And as I say, these are quite sizable. 14 by 10 millimeters in size. That is fantastic. I just like the way the light actually, it's almost like a luster because of the depth of colour, isn't it, rather than a sparkle.
It's a beautiful colour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Really rich colour tone, almost like a forest green, if you like. Yeah.
It is stunning.
It's beautiful. And I think, you know, we have developed our use of green gemstones over the last few years here on JewelleryMaker, and people are very comfortable integrating greens into their designs these days. I always like the idea of matching up your greens with your purples. It's one of my favourite combinations, and I just think it works every time. So if you've got hold of that magnesite, these could be your accent stones, actually. Janet, you like that?
Oh, that looks good together, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I'm trying to disagree, Ed, but I can't so far.
Yes. I'll take it. Okay, I'm going to leave that one with you. I'm easily pleased, what can I say? We're going to move on. It is now time for another Star Buy. Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time for another Star Buy, and once again we have got a rather impressive wholesale bundle for you. So once again we've picked 3 very complementary gemstones that we think would work together, although of course this could just be a way for you to replenish your stock levels of genuine gemstones. And of course, when we bundle them together, it means that we can work on smaller margins and therefore create a wholesale price point. We've seen our Star Buy prices already flying through. People just coming through hand over fist to multi-buy our wholesale bundles. So please be on the phone lines early if you want to take advantage of this one, and I'll take you through exactly what you're going to get hold of here. We've got this beautiful blue magnesite. Now, to the untrained eye, it actually is identical to turquoise. It looks like natural turquoise, doesn't it? Now, this is one of the reasons that we actually do find it difficult to source lots of turquoise, or why the price point of turquoise is slightly distorted within the industry, and it's because lots of people do create imitations. Now, when we talk about that, usually we're talking about unscrupulous characters who actually describe this as turquoise. We would never do that. We lab test each and every gemstone to ensure that we are giving you exactly what we say we're giving you, and this is turquoise dyed magnesite. So that's the gemstone, but because of the attention to detail that's been applied, you can see there it's almost identical to the matrix or the banding that you'd find on natural turquoise. So you can certainly recreate that look, but at a much more affordable affordable price. Of course, normally if you're investing in that between £20 and £50 on the channel, and of course that in itself represents a massive saving to what you'd pay from other suppliers, but this is much more affordable. This is your dyed magnesite, and of course what I would say about this particular strand is that you can also create very uniformed shapes as well with your magnesite, because you can get much larger carat weights and you can create these perfect rounds. So you've got your 8mm perfect rounds. I mean, for a macrame bracelet, for example, these are
perfect, aren't they?
Perfect, yeah.
Absolutely perfect. And like you say, you get the look of turquoise, but
without the price tag.
That's a much affordable price. So. And having that uniform size as well, it makes it great for macrame and lots of other techniques. Really, it's really
yeah. In fact, classic beading.
Yeah.
You know, alongside maybe inside a monochrome look, perhaps, just to give a little bit of colour tone there. Turquoise is always popular, isn't it? That
definitely, they're really lovely.
These are amazing, as far as I'm concerned. All jewellery makers are going to want to have that little pop of colour in their designs. Turquoise tends to be a big draw. This is your dyed magnesite, and it's emulating the natural turquoise that we normally see. Now, on top of that, we've got another popular gemstone here, and a classic combination actually, your turquoise and your chocolate browns here. This is very, very traditional. These are your 6mm faceted rounds of smoky quartz. So you've got 70 carats there. As I say, we did see it alongside the pinks earlier, but I think it works equally well alongside the blues. And actually, I think smoky quartz, or any sort of brown gemstone, tends to be considered a bit of a neutral these days, alongside your whites and your blacks, doesn't it? I think lots of people tend to use it in that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want the harshness maybe of a black gemstone against something, then the smoky quartz is a perfect alternative, because it's just a bit of a softer tone.
No, I totally agree with that. And of course here you've got the faceted finish, so it's going to sparkle again as well.
Beautiful.
So more variations, more creative opportunities, and that's what we're looking to provide you with our wholesale bundles. And on top of that, have a look at this. This is your blue quartz. Now this, again, it's almost emulating another gemstone. It looks just like lapis lazuli, doesn't it? Because that rich blue tone.
Beautiful colour.
Fantastic. Oh, I can see you've been busy today, haven't you, Janet? You've already made a set of jewellery out of this as well. Fantastic. So 3 strands in total, and what I do love about this particular bundle is the graduation in sizes as well. So you go from 8mm to 6mm to 5mm, so those would all work perfectly in one design. Not only do the colours complement each other, but the graduation in the sizes.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go. If you want to get involved, as ever, we're going to give you a clearance price point for these 3 gemstones, and that means you need to be on the phone lines early. It is a free phone number here at JewelleryMaker from a landline, and of course you can shop with us at JewelleryMaker.com. Just simply click to buy now, but make sure you check out your baskets, because this is proving to be very, very popular. Here comes your price point for all 3 strands. $7.95. Actually, do you know what? So far, between our 2 gemstone bundles that we've brought you as star buys, these are both 3 for 2 deals, so I think give or take a few pennies here and there, but yeah, basically buy 2 get 1 for free in both of these. So you're actually creating quite a cohesive gemstone stash really out of these. You've got your bright colours, you've got your muted tones, they all tend to work together. I mean, if you wanted to create an autumnal design, the browns and the oranges would go together, for example. So it's all about combinations, it's all about experimenting with the design process. You're never going to be able to make an accurate decision through the TV screen, and that is why we bring you a clearance price and a 30-day money-back guarantee, so that you can actually get these home and appreciate how complementary these gemstones are to one another in the flesh. At $7.95, you've got absolutely nothing to lose, especially if you've already paid your $2.95 for your P&P today. In fact, Janet has put together a little jewellery suite using these 3 gemstone strands, and quite gem heavy piece there. That's fantastic.
All 3 of them just go beautifully together.
Yes.
And I've used silver plated findings with the one, and then I've used the gold wire with the other, with the ring, just to show that, you know, they just go beautifully with either, really.
Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. I was talking quite a lot about the browns and the blues, but actually the 2 blues are just a match made in heaven, aren't they? the royal blue and the turquoise. That's fantastic. So as you can see, working with some of these more affordable gemstones actually not only allows you a few more creative opportunities, but of course you can probably achieve lower sale prices on those designs if you are intending to maybe attend a few craft fairs over the winter period. Love that. Is that?
That's just
like a ladder weave?
Yeah, just a simple ladder weave.
Have that, Bruce. Jewellery making.
Yep, just a simple ladder weave onto beading thread, and then continued round with the chain. Yeah, you know, it's a real, for me, it's a real stash builder. So
yes.
I would buy these to put in my stash,
yes,
and know that I'm going to use them at some point, either together, individually, or, you know.
That's
however.
Exactly what I was thinking when I saw it, because who doesn't need 6mm faceted smoky quartz rounds? Who doesn't want the royal blue tones? Who doesn't need a gemstone that's virtually identical to natural turquoise? You pretty much need all of those colours. The fact that they all work together is really just an added bonus.
Yes, definitely.
And at $7.95, that is a price point not to be ignored this evening. This is us flexing our value muscles when it comes to genuine gemstones. Lots and lots of people multi-buying this bundle, so that really goes to highlight, I suppose, the success of jewellery making as a sort of creative outlet for people. I think if people are multi-buying that, they probably are selling their designs. I think there's, just based on my own research, and it's not exact, it's just from sort of talking first-hand to our customers, I think it's probably about a 50-50 split between people who are hobbyists and people who are selling their designs, maybe creeping a little bit.
But I think it sort of grows then, doesn't it? You know, if you've got 100% of people who are just starting to make, then you'll get 20% of those will then start to sell.
Yes, exactly.
And then the rest of people, you know, it's sort of a process that I would say as a jewellery maker, lots of people follow. You know, the majority will follow that way, because people will invariably say, oh, that is beautiful, can you make me one of those? Or could you make me that for a gift?
I hear this time. In fact, one customer said to me about 6 or 7 months ago, said, why do you always talk about selling your designs? I have no intention of selling my designs. I make my jewellery for myself. And I saw the same customer in a workshop, as I say, about 4 weeks ago, and they were like, you were right, I sell my designs now. Because somebody's always going to notice if you're wearing a bespoke piece of jewellery, it's actually probably more thought-evoking than when you do have the sort of high street designs on, because everybody's used to seeing those. I've got to leave it there, I'm afraid. That is flying out the door. We still do have some limited stock available, so you can add that to your order for the next 60 minutes. We're going to go to a quick break. When we return, more incredible deals and a findings offer not to be ignored. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 minutes with a premiere launch as well.
Come and join guest designer Louise Jacobson on our Wirework Rings course. Louise will guide you through how to design a combination of ring styles and shapes. You will learn a variety of techniques, including how to use a ring mandrel, how to design bands and shanks, and how to attach gemstones. The full course includes a selection of colours and gauges of wire, a generous scoop of mixed gemstones, use of all relevant tools, a buffet-style lunch and refreshments, a tour of the studios, and a visit to our museum. All of this for $69.95. For more information, contact our call centre on 0800 644 655.
Join guest designer Debbie Bulford for this exciting Paula McKay accessories DVD. Debbie will guide you through a variety of projects, including pen tops, charms, badges, buttons, and how to create the animal print look. This DVD is ideal for all levels and great to have some fun with the kids. To get your hands on a copy, contact our call centre. Get creative with JewelleryMaker.
Coming up at 7 p.m, the premiere launch of a very, very rare variety of apatite, a gemstone that is taking the industry by storm at the moment. But this is a slightly alternative variety. This is beautiful green apatite. I mean, to look at it there, it's almost reminiscent of sort of chrome dioxide kind of colour tone. That's how I would describe it, sort of bottle green. Absolutely beautiful, very rich and opulent colour tone, and actually it's going to go with so many other gemstones, so many different metallic tones as well. So again, giving you creative opportunities, but actually I think this is, I would describe this as sort of getting in at the ground level really, because I have a bit of a theory when it comes to this gemstone. I really think this is going to be catapulted into the stratosphere pretty soon for apatite designs over in the States. And they're actually using the irregular nuggets in some of those designs, not even the faceted rondelles, and they were demanding hundreds of dollars for those designs. Now I understand there's going to be a different finish to the actual piece of jewellery, and of course if there is a prominent designer's name attached to the design, and that always bumps the price up as well. So I'm not under any misapprehensions about that and what you'll be able to achieve in your designs, but I have to say the quality of this particular strand of apatite is out of this world. This is the kind of apatite, if an American designer got their hands on it, they'd be setting into 14 karat gold, I would suspect. So very, very impressive. We don't have examples of green apatite every day here at JewelleryMaker, from time to time, but this for me is the highest quality strand of green apatite we've ever had. Faceted rondelles, and it's coming up at 7 p.m. Coming up in just 20 minutes time, another Star by Bundle, this time on some very high-end and interesting findings. These are all 925 sterling silver. Have a look at this. I'm seeing a little flower girl's hair comb the second I see this. Look at that. Again, instantly adding value to your design, because this is the kind of metalwork that you might normally associate with sort of top-end Italian design. They're sort of always at the forefront of metal work, aren't they? Stylish metal work. So, I mean, that is just out of this world. That's not all you get as part of the actual collection. We'll take you through that in about 20 minutes time, not to be missed out on. Before that, though, it is time for me to bring you a few last of stock deals. So of course, if you're not on the phone lines early and you miss it, you miss out. That's right, Pedro. Right, let's move on then. Where are we going to start? Right, here we go. Now this is really popular. This is one of our rosary link chains. You get a metre length. This is actually one of the more affordable chains, in as much as we've used your silver plated brass, and we've set Dalmatian jasper into the links. Now again, we were talking earlier about maybe giving yourself a bit of a niche when you're approaching these craft fairs, weren't we, Janet? And saying that sometimes you might think you're narrowing your market by maybe having a pendant stall, or having more of the quirky items rather than having traditional suites of jewellery, but actually you might be giving yourself a bit of an edge, because of course you have a bit more of a focus on your stall. And I'm thinking these would be perfect for the glasses chains that we were discussing. Can you see that?
Actually, and really easily done as well, because the work's done for you, hasn't it? Actually, that's a good point, yeah.
So you could probably get 2 out of that?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, so you might be able to get 3. That's true, depending on, you know, the length, of course.
You could even put chain at the back and just have some of those at the front section.
Absolutely.
And then they'd go even further then. Well, you'd probably get 4 lots out of that then.
That's the way to do it. See, that's why the experts are here. I wouldn't have done it in the most cost-effective way. But it allows you to offer your customers something a little bit different, something that they're not going to find on every other craft fair stall. And actually, it's the kind of item that people don't mind parting with their cash, because of course they see it as an essential. They see it as something that's going to be a benefit to them in their daily life, as opposed to, you know, just another gemstone ring that is really a luxury item. It has no sort of application, if you like. Yeah, this has an actual function.
But it's nice as a gift as well, because it's a genuine gemstone, and but you haven't got to worry about what size wrist someone's got, or do they wear earrings or not. As long as they wear glasses,
yes, exactly.
You're fine.
And lots of people wear spectacles, and any time you know somebody who wears spectacles, they're always losing them. Most people say to me, in fact, I thought I'd lost my glasses earlier on today, but they were on my head. And stuff like that. So these make it really useful, and I actually think that these kind of quirky items as well, people never see them as, you know, they don't see them as of a slight or anything. They think, oh, they've been thinking about me, because they thought, oh, I've had a...
And it's that beautiful as well. It's not as if you're just buying sort of a simple, sort of, you know, a black cord.
Absolutely. I mean, you could, of course, you can still use them in your luxury jewellery design, because you can have those sort of varying lengths as the sort of waterfall, cascading styles on a design. Lots and lots of people come through to multi-buy this already, and of course it's only previously been seen as part of bundles, so we've never given you the opportunity on the live shows to own this as an individual length of chain. So this could be your first chance, could be your last chance. We are at limited stock availability. You do get 120 carats of Dalmatian jasper, and the other consideration with this particular strand is that sort of animal print is really in trend right now as well, and so this could be a massive winner. If you want to get hold of this, start dialing the free phone number right now. As I say, plenty of people multi-buying, and now I understand why. Once again, it's the add it to your order price of just $7.95, and I think we worked out that generally, if you wanted to create these lengths of rosary link chains, it would probably take you about 5 hours, and it would probably cost you about 3 or 4 times as much to make them, because of course, I mean, here you've got the silver-plated brass, so I imagine it wouldn't be quite as expensive to get silver-plated brass chain or wire, although that doesn't sound like the easiest thing in the world to source, actually.
I was going to say I wouldn't know where to sort of start to get that, but why do that when you can get that?
All the work's done for you, as I say. And of course, all of these rosary link chains are very, very precise. They're very uniform, whereas if you're trying to do a metre long of them, you might let the odd one slip. That looks like it could be a sellout deal. Fantastic opportunity there for just $7.95. Okay, I'm going to leave that one to one side, because we now have some quite exciting opportunities for our cabochons. Now, cabochons are really, really popular at the moment. I remember when we first got cabochons in stock, everyone was really standoffish about them. I think one of the key considerations was that they didn't have a drill hole. And of course, we were more focused on sort of classic beading techniques at that time. I remember one particular set of jasper cabochons, and we had it in stock for about 2 or 3 years, and I couldn't convince a designer to really do anything innovative with them. They're just like, oh, I'm not really sure how to set them into a design. Then along came soutache. This sort of revolutionised the use of cabochons. So we started to get more and more cabochons in stock because soutache became so popular. And if you don't know what soutache is, I will grab a design if I can find one. Got a soutache design over here? We'll get one for you. So as a result, we have more and more cabochons in stock, and of course, we're sort of another 2 years down the line, and a lot of even our expert designers were much more confident in what they wanted to experiment with. And so then people started to create macrame settings for cabochons, wirework settings for cabochons, and now they're one of the most popular cuts we actually stock here at JewelleryMaker. So it just goes to show that while you're all going on your own personal jewellery making journey, the channel itself is always developing and progressing as well. And I think that's quite nice that we're all going on this journey together, particularly because as we do expand, it gives us greater buying power, and that means that we can now bring you incredible collections like this. Over 700 carats of Botswana agate. This is quite interesting because normally with the Botswana agate you have much earthier colour tones, more of the browns, but here you've definitely got the yellows and the sort of amber tones coming through, haven't you?
They're really beautiful though, aren't they? And like you say, with soutache, or you could macrame around them, there's such a lot that you can do, and as you say, now the fear factor has gone from the cabochons.
That's a great way to describe it.
And people know there are lots and lots of ways that they can use them. They're just fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, even the last polymer clay workshop, somebody had got a cabochon out of one of their bead scoops, and they were creating a bezel setting out of polymer clay for it. So really, you're only limited by your own creativity, and I think we're all guilty of that at times, even our expert designers. I've outed them all now. Janet wasn't here, so she's all right. But yeah, I have to say, this is one of the most interesting varieties of Botswana agate I've actually seen, because you've got those sort of amber and golden tones coming through, which again are going to be perfect for the upcoming autumnal season. I can't find any of the soutache designs in the studio, unfortunately, but we can show you how to use the macrame technique to set these cabochons in, and actually this colour combination would work perfectly with these cabochons, wouldn't it? So if you've got the gold and the black thread, I'm just going to try and find a similarly sized gemstone. There you go, look at that. That would work, wouldn't it? With that setting, absolutely. Oh no, don't be ruining people's jewellery head. So yeah, I just think that would work in the same design. Again, we only have a limited number available on this particular item, and it's probably because of the price point for this huge carat weight. $24.95 for 700 carats of Botswana agate, probably one of our most popular varieties of agate here at JewelleryMaker. Interesting that I touched on polymer clay there, because I know for a fact that Debbie Bulford's a huge fan of the Botswana agate. These are her kind of colour tones, aren't they? These earthier colours. Sorry, I referenced that as macrame. It's actually a Kumihimo setting. My apologies, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, yes, it is.
Yes,
yeah.
sorry. Yes, sorry. I did say macrame, but yeah, can't find any of the soutache designs in the studio right now. But that just goes to show the versatility of the cabochons, because macrame, Kumihimo, wire work. I've seen Laura Binding create some incredible pendants using the cabochons as well. And so, as I say, these are going to work in a number of different disciplines, and I have to say here, huge carat weight, over 700 carats. You will get a variety of different shapes. You saw on the picture there that there were a few different variations in the cut. So you see that almost, I don't know what you would describe that as, almost like an S-shaped cut there on that one there.
Oh wow!
Sure exactly how you.
That'd make a perfect pendant, though, wouldn't it? Because if you were wire wrapping, you could just wire wrap, you know, sort of, even with the lines that are on there, sort of wire work to accentuate the banding on it. You could follow the banding with the wire work.
And the colour tones here are going to work with so many different metallic tones as well, because they work with silvers, antique bronze,
antique
copper.
Bronze would be fabulous with it, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, looks like that one's going to be a sellout, $24.95. So we're going to move on, and we're going to do the rose quartz variety. So these are beautiful. Ooh. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, over 700 carats of rose quartz here, and again, you've got a variety of different shapes. These are the ultimate in femininity, aren't they? And I do hear as well, we talked about this yesterday evening, and I wouldn't suggest you buy them for this reason, but I know that it is a consideration for a lot of jewellery makers, and that's the sort of the crystal healing properties or the energies that are held within gemstones. And apparently quartz is thought to be a big amplifier of different energies, and so that's why rose quartz tends to be very popular, because on top of that you also have that very romantic folklore attached to it that does name it the gemstone of true love. So of course love doesn't have to be romantic love, it can be love between friends or relatives or what have you, and stuff like that. Can you imagine creating a sort of silver clay setting for this gemstone?
Perfect.
That'd look gorgeous, wouldn't it? And so high end. Some
of those for me are rings as well.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that would make a that particular shape a fabulous contemporary sort of ring.
It sort of follows the elongation of your finger, but it's not symmetric.
It's just got that interest to it, hasn't it? So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's up to you how you start to set it into the ring design as well. So, again, lots of variations, lots of creative opportunities. Over 700 carats of beautiful rose quartz here, the gemstone of true love, and less than £20 for 740 carats of rose quartz. You sure about this? 1995? 740 carats. And as I say, rose quartz tends to be very, very popular, and this is no exception. We only have a limited number available. If you want to add this to your order this evening, please dial the free phone number right now. Alternatively, click to buy now at JewelleryMaker.com, and if you've already placed this in your basket, make sure you check out. As ever, I don't say that to put unnecessary pressure on anybody. It's just simply to avoid missing out. Lots and lots of people telling me they place items in their basket and they leave them there, they dilly-dally, and then when they go to actually check out, there's none left in stock. So I don't want anybody to miss out. Don't forget, green apatite coming up in about half an hour, so not long to wait at all before we launch a premiere strand of a gemstone I believe is rising in popularity, and here we've got one of the rarer and most beautiful varieties of this gorgeous gemstone. Faceted Rondelles there, and it's coming up in half an hour. Before that, we're going to try to cram in as many deals as we can, and we're going to start with this rather gorgeous strand of crackled agate. Absolutely gorgeous. This is a gemstone that had everybody getting excited this afternoon when we were looking through the schedules, and I think it's just the irregularities in the shapes combined with that beautiful emerald green tone. Just, I think maybe the variety of different opportunities that you have if you are working with the irregular cuts. Here you've got very dynamic facets on the shape of the gemstone, so they can have quite a structured look, but no two are the same, so still quite an organic feel. In fact, because I was getting all excited, I did ask Janet for her insights on what she might do with the strand, and immediately Janet noticed that they're actually knotted, traditional gemstone knotting in between them all, saying if you actually took the last two off the end of the strand, not only could you create a pair of matching earrings, but you give yourself enough leeway to simply complete the design. So really it's a design concept in itself, and that's all thanks to the graduation there. Very, very high carat weight you'd be offering your customers. A couple of ribbon cord endings and a beautiful clasp, and you've got
and it's done. And we said as well you could put the crimp covers over the knots. So if you wanted to add perhaps a little gold crimp cover in between each one, and you've got a really stunning necklace and earring set for not a lot of work. And
nobody is going to be in sort of under any illusions that you are wearing genuine gemstones as well, because of the irregularities, because of the faceting, and of course the crackled effect. On top of that, of course, you could create that design, wear it for a while, and if once you have sort of it served its purpose, if you like, you can actually break it up and start to make other designs, because you've got so many gemstones here, all in those graduated sizes, ranging from 10 by 8 to 28 by 18 maybe. You just lots of different outputs in total, and of course you've got Mother Nature's base tone once again, that gorgeous green colour, and a gorgeous variation in the colour hues as well, ranging from those very rich forest greens to more of the pastel tones throughout the strand. So you just can't go wrong with this particular item. And of course, as ever, we're going to give you a Jewellery Maker price on this: 580 carats of green crackle quartz for less than £10. As I say, that's what we do here at Jewellery Maker. We're part of the Genuine Gemstone Company, and we aim to provide you with the best value on the market for genuine gemstones. When you actually feel how sort of tactile these gemstones are, they're almost
just stunning, aren't they?
They're almost inspirational, I think.
I think they're beautiful. I mean, you could wire wrap them, put some gold wire with them, would look fabulous. So you could even use them as sort of pendants. But if you did just sort of cover the knotted sections with crimp covers, put a clasp on them, made a pair of earrings, you could sell that for double the price that you've got there. Yeah. So, you know, if you are making to sell, then yeah, and there's no time involved in that as well. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, a little trick could be, because you know you're doubling your money on the price of the actual strand, and you've had to add a few component pieces, but you know, a good sales technique, if you've got those two gemstones at the end, and you can say, you know, if you are prepared to part with cash for the necklace, I'll throw the earrings in. Things like that have just become little sales tactics. You know, you don't have to be sort of shoving things down people's throats, but you know, these are little additional tactics that you can use
just to make people feel a little bit more comfortable, because it isn't always easy. It's a gesture of goodwill,
isn't it?
Absolutely,
and then the thing is, if your customer leaves your store happy with what they've purchased, happy with the way that you've dealt with them, they're more likely to come back to you the next time.
And of course, the age-old adage that if you get bad service, you tell 10 people, but if you do get good service, you're going to tell a few people about it. And people will notice your customers' jewellery designs and say, where did you get that? Can you get me one?
That's right.
So, you know, word of mouth will start to spread, particularly if you are operating in quite a localised regional area and you tend to frequent the same craft fairs throughout the year. That's where you're going to end up picking up repeat business, isn't it?
Definitely.
$9.95. That is proving to be very, very popular, and I can see why. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're going to move on because it's now time to bring you a star buy. Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time now for another star buy, and on this occasion I wouldn't describe these as essential findings actually. I would describe these as findings maybe for the elite jewellery maker, somebody who maybe is working on personal commissions, somebody who maybe has a bridal commission. I don't know, I can't seem to get past the bridal commission, so maybe that's my my downfall, but I certainly think that these are so elegant, they add so much to your designs that I would probably suggest using them on quite a high-end commission. Would you agree with that, Janet?
Yeah, I think they're just absolutely beautiful, aren't they?
They're fantastic.
They're absolutely stunning. The earring findings in them with the little flowers on them are so delicate. And the bales, they're just beautiful. Absolutely amazing.
These are actually, these are little pendant bales, these are, aren't they?
Yes,
little
and they're so easy to use. It's just a matter of opening them up, dropping your gemstone in and squeezing them together, and you've got that beautiful sort of leaf detail or feather detail, however you want to look at it.
Oh yeah, good point, yeah, it can be interpreted.
Just sort of across the top of the gemstone.
Fantastic. So you just can't go wrong with these finds because they're instantly adding value to your design, aren't they? And not only that, but a little bit of character, a little bit of personality, and of course it's sterling silver, so again people will be expecting to pay a premium. You might actually shock them with the price point you can achieve. This is the finding that really is the sort of showpiece of the actual findings. But in fact, Janet has actually created a gorgeous design using this. This is fantastic.
My timing's a bit wrong, so I haven't actually done anything with the earring findings, but with the that little sort of branch, I've just sort of wrapped that around the ring mandrel, added a few gemstones, and I think that just makes it really,
classified
really
as a connector, but really that's good because you can use it to create anything. You can do whatever you want with it. You could have that at the front of a necklace with some cascading gemstones. You know, you could have it as a connector. But as I've sort of bent it around the ring mandrel and made a pretty little ring with it. Imagine if you offered this to somebody as a ring design. I mean, how long would that last on a craft festival? Yeah. Not very long.
No. I mean, it's just so beautiful because you've got that flower detail in there, and just add a few little gemstones in there. And it's,
I love what you've done to it because it just looks like a little rose bud, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
And they are so pretty.
They're gorgeous. As I say, this is the kind of finding that will instantly add value to your design. In fact, you can see there that there's so much detailing. It's really become the feature of the design, hasn't it? And that is absolutely perfect. On top of that, you do get 5 of the leaf or feather shaped bales. I think they're supposed to be leaves, but that's a great way to think of it, that, you know, think outside the box, and it's always open to interpretation. So you get 5 of your leaf shaped bales that we've already had a look at. You get 2 of your little earring findings. Now these are the shepherd hooks, traditional shepherd hooks, 95 sterling silver, but have a look at this, the way you attach the gemstones, more detailing, and look at that, gorgeous floral detailing.
They're stunning, aren't they?
They're gorgeous.
You could even actually take that little bale section off the earring, because the earring will open, so there you could, if you wanted to, have 2 more pendant bales. Perfect.
Actually, do you know what? When I first picked them up, I was thinking, oh, has that got tangled on there? So I was thinking of it as a pendant bale. So definitely you could do that. So the sterling silver shepherd hooks you could use independently, and then you could create 2 more pendant bales. But I do like the idea of having that detail on the earrings
because
as well.
Because again, you could just get a gemstone and just attach that, and you've just got a simple drop gemstone with that detail of the silver. Perfect.
Fantastic. I'm going to have to bring the price on screen because once again they're flying out the door. Oh, genuine 95 sterling silver with that level of detailing for less than £10.
Wow, what can you say?
That's amazing. I definitely wasn't expecting to see that price point. I think they have been on screen previously. I've actually seen the little stem before, but I didn't recognise that price really point. Good,
because that ring, I mean, I would sell that ring for more than that.
Oh, surely.
Way more than that.
Can you imagine how much that would be in a boutique jeweller's with that metalwork?
Yeah. So that's a really good
honestly,
price.
I don't know for a fact because I've never seen it in a boutique window, but you wouldn't be shocked if you saw, you know, a 3-figure sum attached to that ring design in a boutique jeweller's, because they would really value that metalwork very, very highly. Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. No wonder so many people are multi-buying the strand, and you've got 3. Marilyn's got 2, and I've got about 20 people with this placed in their basket. Somebody has text through to say they'd quite like to see the bales again, and that is not a problem at all. If you've got anything that you want to have a look at more closely, just text in and we'll make sure we always show you exactly what you want to see. This is your pendant bale. So that's the leaf shape on the front, and then I'll just put it around that way so you can see the bale finding itself. You get 5 of those in total as part of this particular design, hopefully. Hopefully I've shown you it from all angles. I'll flip it that way.
Aren't they pretty? Gorgeous, aren't they?
You know what's really popular actually? The sort of there's only 10 remaining in stock, so well, there's about 5 people with it in their basket, so maybe even fewer than that, maybe single figures of availability. If you do want to get hold of it, as ever, you've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so a risk-free shopping experience, and I would advise that you get involved in the next few minutes if you do want to get hold of one of those. I'm going to leave that one there because we've got a lot to bring you before we launch our premiere strand of green apatite. Absolutely fantastic, and if you're hungry for gemstones, then this is the one for you. Sorry, couldn't resist it. Pete doesn't get it. I'm only joking, I'm only joking. Look at this beautiful rich colour tone that you're getting here. Not the traditional colour that you might associate with this gemstone, but I actually think that could be a massive selling point for a lot of your customers once you start to introduce them to alternative varieties of traditional gemstones and popular gemstones. It might actually lead to greater sales. We were talking earlier about building that rapport with your customers and how knowledge is power. Yeah. We're going to move on. Okay, now, just before I came on air, literally 6 minutes before I came on air, I was talking to sales manager Scott, Scotty Too Hotty, he's known around this building, and he was saying about how popular jet black gemstones are at the moment. He's saying that the buying team just can't keep up with the demand for black gemstones, and I think it's probably something to do with entering in to the party season, I suppose. People starting to think about the kind of designs they're going to need for the end of the year, or maybe just as you start to maybe, I don't know, wear more muted tones when it gets a bit colder. People tend to wrap up a bit warmer, maybe not quite as, I don't know.
I would say
extroverted with the colours, maybe.
But definitely as we move into sort of, like you say, the party season, as gemstones like this sort of just come into their own, don't they?
Absolutely, because they do all the work for you again, like you were saying earlier, and that is a key consideration. And of course, the craft fairs tend to come a bit more thick and fast at that time of year as well, so it's always good to expand your selection of jewellery at that time. Now these are just, for me, I mean, they're just crying out to be made into earrings, aren't they? Yeah. Classic, sophisticated earrings. They go with silver or gold. In fact, if you've got the mini Wags Y-cone, create the little briolette setting, they are going to fly off your craft fair store. And the price we can provide you with for black onyx this evening, I would say you can probably make very affordable pairs of earrings. These range in size from 8x5 to 14x7. You get 90 carats here for less than £10. Now, black onyx is, for me, very similar to amethyst, for example. It's a gemstone that's heavily used by a lot of designers across the entire industry. So even your top-end designers, if you think about the likes of Gucci and Cartier, they always rely on black onyx, often placing it alongside, you know, 9-carat gold to get that very traditional combination of the black and gold. But then even if you look at the high street, black onyx, a traditional accent stone, of course, and the high street charm shop, they use a lot of black onyx as well. And therefore, when people are aware of a gemstone, like we've discussed, they feel a little bit more comfortable, not only in investing in it, but also in maybe just talking to you, you know, and creating that one-on-one rapport, that little connection with the designer themselves. Gorgeous luster from these gemstones, and that is evident. Well, you can see even our studio lightings, you're getting that gorgeous reflection of the light on the surface, all thanks to the faceting here. As I say, they do range in size from 8x5 to 14x7, so quite sizable by the centre, and you can easily make a matching set of jewellery. Is there anything else that you might...
Well, there's lots of things you could do. Even if you'd got sort of multi-strands of chain, silver chain, and then just drop a few of those in as sort of like charms.
Almost charms, yeah.
That'd look really pretty.
Absolutely.
And yeah, they're really, really versatile. I'd make rings with them as well, because I've made rings with sort of like that Beadsmith cut, and set them, and then just sort of woven around them as well.
Is this using wire wrapping technique to make them sit proud?
Yeah. Well, sort of even sort of side on.
Oh right, okay.
I did one with a Morganite Beadsmith cut, and that was really
talking
really
my language here, Jan.
So you know, you could do that with those. It's perfect.
I'll tell you what, if you've got Morganite Beadsmith cuts alongside black onyx, pink and black, it's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can see everybody salivating now. Under £10 for a Gems of Distinction strand, and as I say, the black gemstones are proving to be very, very popular at the moment. I suppose once again, huge amount of versatility. They go with any other gemstone, of course they do, and I think sometimes they can help to almost maybe bring a more dramatic edge to a certain design, or even a bit more elegance, maybe, you might think. I mean, there's the combination we just discussed, the pink and black. That looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Actually, it's almost given a bit of a richer saturation to the pink tones there once you place it against the black.
It looks different, doesn't it? Because if you put those next to the smoky quartz, for example, they take on a different look.
Absolutely.
But you put them next to the jet black, and they get you get more impact.
Yes.
You get a more sort of smack in the face.
No, you definitely get that colour bang, don't you? Yeah, no, I totally agree.
So depending on what sort of design you go for, but like say for the Christmas party season, this is the sort of look you want, isn't it? You want people to notice what you're wearing, and that does it beautifully.
They're gorgeous, aren't they? Absolutely. But what I was thinking as well is, if you do pick some of the more vibrant colour tones and place it on side, it can tone it down, whereas you've got a pastel tone there and it's making it pop. So this is one of the key considerations during the design process, and that's why we give you this 30-day money-back guarantee, so that you can get it home, see it in the flesh, match it up with other gemstones to make an informed decision about whether it's going to work in your designs. 160 carats here, and we haven't even touched upon the cut. These are star-cut gemstones, so you get very dynamic facets on here, almost giving a little bit of a sort of edge to your jewellery, perhaps. Quite large, they range from 8 to 9 millimetres. The reason that you get that slight variation in the size is just because of the way it's been faceted. So that accentuates the length on some sides of the gemstones and not on other gemstones. So very, very subtle variation from 8 to 9 millimetres. Oh, we only have a limited number available. In fact, fewer than 20 of these in stock and available right now for... What? Oh, should have been $8.95. As I say, we've got fewer than 20 in stock. He's giving you a price slash. $6.95. Again, you could probably get away with using these as charms because of that alternative cut you've got there. And
it's a really interesting cut as well, isn't it? It's really, really, really beautiful.
Again, it's quite a current sort of trend in sort of contemporary jewellery design to have these dynamic edges, these angled
Because
looks.
If you made just a simple wire wrap ring, solitaire ring with those, you've got that added difference of the cut of the ring. It's not just a round gemstone. So they're absolutely beautiful.
They're stunning.
At $6.95, that's a silly price.
It's a no-brainer, I guess, for a lot of jewellery makers. And actually, I think there might be some people that miss out on that deal because a lot of people coming through on the phone lines are multi-buying, in fact. So congratulations to Dawn, you've got 2. and you have got 2 as well. Olive's there. Fee, you've guaranteed your strand, and then I've got about 10, 13 people. 10, 11, 12. Yeah, quite a few people with that place in their basket, and even buyers again from the States coming in. So that highlights our value that we can bring you. Now, have a look at this. This is probably the most traditional variety of amethyst that we've brought you so far this evening. We've seen the lavender tones, we've seen the pink colours, but this is what most people associate with the gemstone amethyst, that intense purple tone. And not only do you get the traditional colour tone here, but you get a very traditional faceting in the form of this checkerboard facet that we discussed earlier, and a traditional setting because it's been bezel set into 925 sterling silver. Essentially, what we're looking at here is the kind of gemstone that you would associate with top-end jewellery design, really. You've got a very large carat weight on each gemstone. In total, you've got 70 carats, so if you just placed one of these on a chain, not only are you offering your customer a sterling silver piece of jewellery, you're allowing them to join the 10 carat club. They're investing in a gemstone they're already going to be aware of, and it is top quality amethyst, gorgeous clarity, beautiful colour, 10 carats, and all set into 925 sterling silver. This is going to prove to be a hugely profitable gemstone, not just for the money that you make off the back of this strand, but again for providing you with credibility as a designer. That's the way I see it right now.
Definitely.
Once somebody sees that you're offering them 10 carats of amethyst of this quality set into sterling silver, they're going to come back time and time again. They know that you are probably working to much higher standards than other jewellery makers out there. Now, this is only previously featured once here on the live show, and unfortunately they were brought to you at an exclusive launch price, so they haven't been available at the same price on our website. That's a common thing that you'll find here on JewelleryMaker. Always important to get in on the launch of these items, otherwise you might miss out on that exclusive price. So at the moment, these are now available on our website for $27.95. But you know what we're like here on the Late Show. We're going to honour the launch price this evening and give everybody a second bite at the cherry, down to $24.95. For me, it does take a little bit of the risk out of the purchase because that's the equivalent of your P&P coming off the price. You essentially can get them home, but you don't have to pay your P&P. So that gives you the opportunity to have a look at these a little bit closer and, you know, maybe come up with a few designs that you want to include these in before making an informed decision. You get 7 individual gemstones, and that gives you 10 carats in each gemstone. So probably not going to use all of these in one design. Well, no. I certainly wouldn't.
I think they make perfect pendants, don't they?
They're
absolutely
out,
perfect.
Aren't they?
I mean, if you just put that on a simple silver chain, you could ask that price and more for just one pendant on a silver chain.
Absolutely.
I know you've got to buy a silver chain, but you're only then using one of those gemstones.
Absolutely. I mean, what are we talking
Just
about there for the carats? About 7 4s are 28, so less than £4.
Yeah.
For a 10 carat amethyst that's been bezel set into sterling silver.
So, you know, get a silver chain, pop it on a silver chain, sell it for that price, and then you've still got all those then left in your stash, haven't you?
Absolutely.
You know, you've made money on that one straight off.
And you don't have to do a great deal of work either, do you? Because it's done for you here.
And it'd be nice as well to put some wire work maybe through and just do a little bit of a design either side, and then you could either put some gemstones from that or again hang it from chain. There's lots you can do with it. The interest or the sort of the creative input from you as a designer could be the bail that you create through there, couldn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can still, even though it's there ready to use, you can still add your design feature to it.
Absolutely.
You could still even sort of prong set those as a ring, and prong set it, you know, with some silver wire. Would look absolutely beautiful. So, you know, even though they're already wrapped in that silver, you could still prong set them and look beautiful. Interestingly,
across the 7 gemstones, you actually get 3 grams of sterling silver. So,
there you go.
So what we talk about, say, 0.4 grams of silver, bezel setting each and every gemstone, and they're not sort of loosely set into there. These are quality bezel settings, as I say, created by the same lapidarists and metalworkers that create the jewellery designs for our sister channel, Gems TV. So top quality jewellery design there, basically allowing you to work with the same quality of gemstones and metal that you'd see on the high street. I'm really impressed with that. We're now going to move on to this gorgeous gemstone. Beautiful rhyolite, and this for me is really, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 complete macrame bracelets out of this one strand. For me, that's all I can see when I look at this. Masculine designs. I mean, they're almost sort of a camo effect,
yes,
you know, the camouflage effect on a gemstone. You've got a huge carat weight here, 350 carat. As well, so slightly larger size
with the cord, but
they're a little bit thicker, but I imagine that it probably could be done.
I'm sure somebody that will happen.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. 350 carats of rhyolite here, and if you do want to get involved, I mean, all of the interest is evident to see on the surface of the gemstone in that beautiful irregular banding there.
It's really lovely, isn't it? It's really sort of mossy green and all that. They're beautiful.
Absolutely. It's an interesting finish. You'd almost expect them to have a textured finish to them because of the banding, but they're not. They're very, very smooth and polished.
It's like when you look at clouds, because all those different shapes in there, you could see lots and lots of different shapes. And
I like that because, again,
tell yourself a little story about them.
It might be the kind of gemstone that you do allow your customers to maybe select their favourite ones because they're so different in terms of the patterning and the banding on the surface of each gemstone. Proving to be very, very popular. In fact, half of the customers who've come through on the phone have multi-bought the strand. So Dawn's got 2, Nina's got 2, Vera's got 2. Lots and lots of people coming through now at JewelleryMaker.com. Let's get that price on screen. $7.95. There you go, another added to order price, especially when you consider that you've got a lot of gemstones on there, you've got a large carat weight, and you've got something which adds a point of interest to your design. So it doesn't always have to be a, you know, top end, you know, recognisable gemstone. Sometimes
it's to have something exactly that, something a little bit different. And like you say, each stone is completely different, so people could choose which stones they wanted in a bracelet or a ring or a cufflink maybe or something. You know.
Yeah, cufflinks great.
So people, so it's nice to have gemstones like that because they're a real talking point.
Yes,
because people, I mean, you know, people probably haven't heard of them, and
true.
So it's
actually these sort of feed into the idea I was talking about earlier about offering people varieties of more traditional gemstones, and that actually being a good selling point. Yeah, there you go, $7.95. I'd describe that as an added to order price considering the carat weight you're getting there. And we're now going to move on. Now this is good because we've got a very popular and traditional gemstone, but in a cut we don't see every day. And this again feeds into something that Janet and I were just discussing, the idea of having slightly more dynamic cuts and adding extra dimensions to your design. We've got your cuboids of smoky quartz here, 8mm in size. I mean, again, if you wanted to create those cluster sort of charm-like designs, or the bubble designs even, but with a different angle to them. That'd
be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think that was just really beautiful. And like you say, if you use the head pins that you had before, and with the bubble design, but being that square shape, they just add another dimension to it, don't they?
And the rose gold, very complementary with the chocolate browns as well.
Yes, definitely. And also, if you do just a simple ladder weave with them, you just get that beautiful shape. That just, and smoky quartz is one of my all-time favourites.
Yeah, I think it is a real mainstay for most jewellery makers. And I suppose it's again because it offers you that neutral quality, but it's not as sort of high impact as the jet black gemstones like we were just discussing. If you want to get involved with this, unfortunately we only have a limited number available. It's only previously featured as part of boutique bundles. So these are bundles that have traditionally been put together for our designer inspiration shows. although you might have seen it on the morning show, I'm not sure. But what I will say is that you've never had the opportunity to invest in this as an individual strand. So essentially, we're going to be offering you a launch price. My producer's very excited about this, you see. So currently, this strand's available for $9.95, and you would have seen it as part of boutique bundles, wholesale items. Ah, okay. We are now going to give you a clearance price point this evening for your 8mm cubes. I love this because of the depth of colour there. Look at that. Beautiful lustre on the surface there, and it's real high impact lustre. $6.95. That is an incredible price point for the carat weight you've got here. Not just the collective carat weight, but the carat weight on each and every gemstone, because very precise cutting process to create a cuboid shape, because you haven't really got anywhere to hide with this. They're not faceted on each surface, so you have to be 100% confident in the quality of the smoky quartz here. And yes, you're expected to get around 300 carats of smoky quartz of this particular strand of smoky quartz cubes. We'll have to leave that one with you, I think, because they are flying out the door so quickly. So if you do want to get involved with this deal, please make sure you are dialing the free phone number, or of course checking out your baskets. I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but I get so many people telling me off because they missed out, and I just want to make sure everybody understands that you need to check out your baskets to avoid disappointment. Just $6.95 for 300 carats of smoky quartz. As I say, pretty much an essential for all jewellery makers. We are going to move on now, and I think it's time for another Star Buy. Welcome back to Jewellery Maker. Time now for an exclusive premiere launch. So this has never been seen before here on the channel. I think we have had a couple of samples of the gemstone, but this specific strand has never been available previously, and it's coming to us at the perfect time as far as I can see. Apatite growing in popularity across the industry. My own personal research has led me to find that this is very, very popular with American jewellery designers, and as I say, even when they're working with the more organic nuggets that we offer here on Jewellery Maker, they're demanding sort of hundreds of dollars for their designs. Now, I know that that might be unattainable in certain venues, of course, but you've got a very, very high-end cut and look to this gemstone on this particular strand. Faceted rondelles, but they're quite large. They range from 3x2 to 5x2. So of course, sometimes I think people are a little bit concerned about the smaller drill holes in the very, very delicate rondelles, the sort of 2x1 mil. But these, well, by the time you get to the centre of the strand, they're 5x2 mil, and I don't think you're gonna have too much trouble. In fact, it looks like, in fact, it is beading thread that's on the actual strand, so you're not gonna have any trouble. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Not the traditional colour tone you'd associate with apatite. Traditionally, you'd be looking for sky blues or neon blues, but this is completely natural, and this is how Mother Nature intended it. She has created this alternative variety. Now, I have to warn you, we only have double figures of availability on this. Of course, it's much rarer to find green apatite than it is blue. Not necessarily because Mother Nature makes less green apatite, but because the traditional draw for apatite is for those neon blues. So often we don't dedicate as much time to sourcing the green apatite. But I think, I might go on a limb here, I think I prefer the green apatite to the neon blue apatite. That might just be my own personal opinion, but for me this is almost reminiscent of chrome dioxide. Yeah. I can't think of any other gemstone that sort of is similar to that colour tone.
It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
It's magnificent, and again, because you've got that green tone, gives you lots of different creative opportunities. It'll work with a variety of different metal tones and well, untold amount of gemstones.
Yeah, and
really.
you've got, like you say, that green backdrop, so it'll go with any gemstone.
Absolutely.
Any colour metal. They're just beautiful.
Thinking about this, I always go for the greens and purples just because that's a classic combination, but I'm thinking here you could actually use this as your backdrop, so you've got that forest green tone and then your little rosebuds from your quartz there. I absolutely love this strand. I think this is one of my most favourite strands of apatite we've ever had here on JewelleryMaker, and it is partly because it's the alternative variety. This is, I suppose, a variety of apatite that I haven't experienced a great deal, and I've been working in the industry for nearly 7 years, and I don't think I've seen too many examples of green apatite. Now this is something that you can sort of use to actually build up that rapport with your customer base, to maybe impart a little bit of knowledge. They might actually be aware of apatite, maybe they are quite au fait with current trends in jewellery design, but they might not have seen green apatite. So when you introduce something new to a potential customer,
something different to offer your customer and to talk about, and this for me is it. It's just stunning. I love it.
It's absolutely exquisite, and of course this evening we're able to bring you this for the first ever time, so we can also give you an exclusive launch price. Now we've already got interest on the phone lines and we only have double figures of availability. I mean, it might be that for you jewellery design has nothing to do with the gemological side. I know that's my focus, because that's my background in the industry, and that's my own personal passion for gemstones coming through. You know, there's nothing phony about the way people present here on JewelleryMaker. We're all just being ourselves, and you know, some of the female presenters are probably more drawn to the beauty and the aesthetic of a gemstone, or the more jewellery making focused presenters might think about the techniques that you can use. My personal sort of draw within gemology is for the sort of scientific angle, but I have to say this is a gemstone this evening that has just encapsulated me because of the colour tone. Nothing to do with the way the gemstone forms, nothing to do with Mother Nature's hard work. It's all about that beautiful and vivid green colour tone you've got there. Work with virtually any other gemstone, and it's almost a sort of holly green, so once again it could be good for those festive designs.
Beautiful. But I see it rings for me.
And you've created a ring design using this.
I haven't gone that, I haven't used lots of them. I wanted to use just a few and make something that really, for me, did them justice, really.
I think you can be a little bit more delicate with your approach with the faceted rondelles, can't you? This is Janet's ring that she's creating. You can see here. Do you want me to just grab it?
Do you want me to pass it over to you?
Cool.
There you go.
There we go. Oh, I love it. Love the setting. And again, you've allowed the actual technique to become the sort of detailing, the flourish, but it's not overpowering the gemstones at all, is it?
The gemstones are there, and it's just, you don't know how it's going to sort of turn out when you start it. You just sort of start and...
You know, I think the depth of the colour on there is getting a little bit lost in the black background, so I'm just going to put it on my finger, if you excuse my my man hands, I'm afraid. Look at that. I mean, that, like you say, sometimes if you pile too much carat weight into a design, you're almost devaluing the gemstones. You say, no, well, you can give me that many, it can't be that sought after. But when you're a little bit more strategic,
just add 5 of them into a design, add the wire work as I've done there, and that's it. And if you did that with that strand, you'd get lots and lots of rings out of them.
Absolutely.
Or you could use that sort of technique and make matching earrings as well,
yes,
you know. So there's lots you can do with it.
Absolutely. So again, plenty of creative opportunities, but here we're looking at a very high-end variety of the gemstone, and that's not just evident in how rare green apatite is, but also in the way it's been cut and faceted, because very, very exacting standards have been applied to the faceting process. Lots and lots of people coming through now. We better have a look at our exclusive launch price of just $14.95. This is a Gems of Distinction strand. You get 40 carats, and as I say, you'd be hard pushed to find this colour tone occurring naturally in any other gemstone other than, say, chrome dioxide. I can't think of any others. Maybe I'm I'm being a bit silly, but you certainly wouldn't find this colour tone in an emerald, for example. It's going to be more of the pastel tones, and if you do get this colour tone in an emerald, then it's going to be very, very heavily included. It offers you the clarity as well as the colour tone. Right, tomorrow morning at 9 AM. If you place it in your basket, make sure you're checking out. We're going to go to a quick break. When we return, more incredible deals from producer Liam and more inspiration from the lovely Janet, so don't go away.
JewelleryMaker ships to the following countries. We offer 2 delivery services, standard and premium. So wherever you are in the world, JewelleryMaker are never far away. Do you need a helping hand to get started with JewelleryMaker? Are you stuck for ideas and need inspiration? Then visit our JewelleryMaker website, where you can find our video tutorials. Expand your knowledge and skills with these easy-to-follow jewellery making demonstrations. Whether you're a beginner, hobbyist, or business owner, there's always something new to learn. It couldn't be easier. Simply click and learn some new jewellery making techniques.
I like the Viking knit because for me it gives that finished look to your pieces. You can use just the knit on its own and create a statement piece, add 1 stone and your look just completely changes. It's such an easy technique to do, and again you can just do so much with it. You can flatten it, you can make rings with it, you can drop stitches, add stitches. It's just got so much scope, and again having a Lazy Daisy tool to create the knit makes it so much easier. You can do it, you know, you can carry the tool wherever you go, and it's just a really, really lovely technique to learn.
Come and join guest designer Mark as he shares his passion for beautiful jewellery making with genuine gemstone chips and nuggets. You will learn various techniques including colour grading, how to triple plait, create stunning memory wire bracelets and earrings, as well as how to incorporate macrame into your designs. The full course includes a selection of gemstones, memory wire, threading materials and findings, use of all relevant tools, a buffet-style lunch and refreshments, a tour of the studios and gemstone museum, and a chance to visit our shop. And all for just $79.95. For more information, contact our call centre on 0800 644 655.
Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Coming up in less than 1 hour, the exclusive premiere launch of our watermelon solar quartz. Now this is one of the most popular gemstones that we stock here at JewelleryMaker. Always tends to be very, very popular when we bring you a launch of this strand. In fact, I think we have been lucky enough to launch 2 different strands of solar quartz here on the Late Show previously over the last 6 months or so, and they've both been sellouts from what I can remember. So again, I would always advise that you get on the phone lines early to avoid disappointment. In fact, when it comes to our solar quartz, if you're not on the phone lines early, you can expect to miss out. These are very organic cuts of your solar quartz. In fact, they're almost floral shaped. Almost forming little.
I love solar quartz. I just think it's absolutely stunning. And like for me, pendants, they scream pendants. We were talking about them earlier,
yes,
weren't we?
Absolutely, yes.
Look, I mean, look how interesting that is.
That
just on its own.
It looks like a little daisy.
Yeah, a little
doesn't
flower.
It? Something like that. because the little inclusion there is almost forming the stamen of the flower, and then because of the irregularity in the way the crystals form, they look like little petals.
Beautiful.
Absolutely amazing. So Mother Nature emulating her own design to provide you with creative inspiration. She's doing all the work. Just 50 minutes to wait before we bring you that solar quartz. Coming up at, is it around about past? We're bringing the Apatite and Garnet placed together. I love this colour combination. Great sort of colour blocking here, the reds and the blues, and you've got very rich, almost red wine tone from your Garnet, and then you've got the more traditional swimming pool blues from your Apatite here. So we've just seen your green Apatite, and now we've got the more traditional variety in blues there. That's coming up in about 20 minutes time, so not long to wait at all. Before that, we've got a little price avalanche for you. So the idea here is that each item will be a lower price than the previous item. So there you go, you always know you're going to be paying a lower price. Oh, look at this. Single figs of availability, I'm afraid, but it's just exquisite. This is Madeira citrine. This is probably one of the most sought after varieties of citrine available in the industry, and just harking back to my sort of background on Gems TV, I do remember much higher price points being achieved on Madeira citrine than ever on the more traditional tone. This is in fact natural Madeira citrine, so this has not been sort of enhanced using heat processes. They haven't taken some amethyst and heated it up here. This is exactly how Mother Nature intended it. I mean, can you imagine placing this alongside amber? I was thinking, you know, the rounds of honey amber we had recently, you could have that on the neckline and just maybe a cluster of these as your pendant perhaps. That would look fantastic, wouldn't it? This is in fact November's birthstone, so if you are starting to plan for the next couple of months, maybe birthday gifts, this could be a must-have, really. Absolutely exceptional, and certainly got more of those rich, almost amber and cognac tones rather than golden and lemon hues. So slightly different variety, but actually probably a more opulent colour tone that you get from your Madeira citrine. They range in size from 4x3 to 8x5, and again, you've got the briolet cuts. Oh wow, there's so many people coming through on JewelleryMaker.com that we've actually only got one strand remaining in stock, and it's available right now for $29.95. Even if you are caught in two minds on this one, I would definitely get this home. When you see it in the flesh, you won't be caught in two minds. You'll definitely want to keep this. Again, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is probably the best quality strand of citrine I've ever seen here at JewelleryMaker. Would people go along with that? It's pretty fantastic. I wouldn't
disagree with you.
Okay, there you go. Okay, it looks like we've probably got twice as many takers as strands now. Sorry about that. Somebody is going to miss out. We're going to move on. Ooh, another must-have for all jewellery makers, particularly if you are starting to receive those high-end commissions, maybe bridal commissions. This is ticking every box because you've got that traditional clarity and sparkle that you'd associate with a gemstone in the form of your clear quartz, and you've got this very high-end dynamic cut. This is a concave bicone, if you like. Love this. So this is like almost like a mirrored princess cut or something like that, isn't it? A very traditional gemstone cut, but mirrored. I love that. And I suppose you could actually create a sort of open setting, could you, for a ring design, so that you can allow that coulee to become part of the
set ring. And like you say, you want something that's not too fancy, so that it allows a lot of light to sort of pass through it. So just something really simple, just to secure the stone in place.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So you would probably say that in setting this gemstone, less is more, because you really want the gemstone to be at the forefront of the design. If you were to incorporate these into maybe a sort of tiara design, they'd work brilliantly in those, wouldn't they? Because you'd actually get the sort of angles
with all the movement.
Yes.
But just as you know, single earrings, just that with just a drop earring would just be perfect, wouldn't it?
You don't really need to go above and beyond with this particular strand because the cut's doing all the work for you. Well, combined with the clarity, of course, because without the clarity, you wouldn't be able to achieve this cut, and it wouldn't be as effective. Because you wouldn't get that sort of kaleidoscope effect. You'd be looking, your eyes would be distracted by the inclusions. But just look at that, such a traditional cut. And again, this is the kind of gemstone that maybe will set you apart from other jewellery designers when you start to see that you are able to source these very high-end cuts and these high-quality gemstones. They do slightly vary in size, but it is very, very subtle. They range from 10x6 to 11x8, and you've got 40 carats in total there. They do come from our Gems of Distinction range. Again, we've got to get the price on screen. We only have a limited number available. This not only comes from our Gems of Distinction range, which are our elite range, but this is actually part of our cut collection. So these would have been cut by one of our very experienced and talented lapidarists, our gemstone cutters, who do have years and years of experience in cutting gemstones for some very high-end designs. Probably, you know, the same sort of lapidarists that cut the gemstones for our Larique designs. I don't know that for a fact, of course, but I'm just saying, you know, if they are coming from our cut collection, I imagine they've been handed over to a very experienced lapidarist. $24.95, and we're moving on. Cultured pearls. Now, we brought you a few different strands of cultured pearls yesterday evening. We were explaining the fact that we are expecting once again to see a rise in price on this mineral as we move into 2015. We've already experienced a huge decrease in the production of cultured pearls across the industry, not just here at JewelleryMaker, I hasten to add. And I have to say, I was going to say I am so impressed, but it goes beyond being impressed. I'm actually a little bit shocked at the prices we're still able to provide you with for cultured pearls, especially when you're looking at these luxury sizes. That's the only way to describe them. 11 by 10 millimeters, and these have been described as peach pearls. I will just say that it is quite a vivid colour tone. It's quite strong colour tone, also sort of apricot tone, if you like. Once you're able to experience the pearlescence there, it's like a golden pearlescence that you get here. So they do definitely add a feeling of luxury to your designs. Of course, pearls traditionally associated with sophistication and sort of grace and innocent, those kind of very feminine qualities that are attached to cultured pearls. But here you've got a very robust size. If you want to get involved, please start dialing the free phone number, because as ever, we're going to give you a JewelleryMaker price, but for cultured pearls they go under £20. I mean, if you were simply to restrand this and add a beautiful clasp, you could potentially double, even treble your money, because I know the prices you can pay for pearl jewellery. And I have been doing some research. When you do look in the boutique windows, they're not always using perfect rounds. They've got the imperfections, they've got the irregularities in the size, and yet they're able to achieve sort of three-figure sums for their designs. And oh, in fact, how about this? Some of members of the crew who will know about this now take some sterling silver or some copper, patina it to give it that antique finish, add that to a strand of pearls. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry, because there's the DVD's coming soon to a screen near you. $19.95 right now for your gorgeous peach pearls. And if you do want to add those to your order, please act now to avoid disappointment. As I say, I don't know how long we'll be able to honour these kind of prices on cultured pearls, because it is becoming more and more difficult for us to get hold of them. Very, very, very popular. And actually, from a distance, they almost look like they are round, in fact. Oh yeah, that's a great point. In fact, we had a customer text through yesterday to say that she had matched some of our cultured pearls up with a strand of sapphire, and she'd had her design valued independently for over £400. And that's a great suggestion. Sam, our tech op this evening, who's also a JewelleryMaker, is saying that she would place these pearls alongside the Madeira citrine. So if you got hold of the Madeira citrine, then you can add these pearls to your order, maximise on that 1p and p per day, And yes, you're exactly right, those colour tones, so complementary with one another. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to move on, because as ever, we've got a lot to fit in. Aha, yes, here we go. Faceted rounds of very traditional amethyst. So again, I'm seeing this as a must-have for all jewellery makers. They're exceptional, aren't they? Do you like this one? I actually think maybe alongside the lavender amethyst that we sort of launched the show with, they'd look gorgeous, wouldn't they? That'd
be really nice, because you've got the depth of that colour, and then you've got the paler tones to the lavender amethyst.
So then you've got the sort of regal qualities, you've also got the femininity. You could use these along the neckline, because again you've got the graduation that will provide you with a very coherent design. They range from 7mm up to 10mm, so it's quite subtle, but of course that will add to your design. Faceted to perfection, so you get that gorgeous lustre, in fact, because of that depth of colour, that very traditional purple tone. 80 carats of amethyst on this strand. That sounds almost ridiculous, doesn't it? And again, this is a gemstone that probably transcends birthstone jewellery. As we were saying, you're probably actually doing yourself out of sales if you're not working with amethyst, but it is February's birthstone, so that might be a consideration. And I know for a fact that there are jewellery makers out there who are starting to receive Valentine's commissions, so some people are very organised. I'm gonna buy another Christmas present out of this month's pay, but I'm nowhere near planning Valentine's yet. Nobody wants anything off me for Valentine's anyway. 80 carats of amethyst here, faceted rounds, and let's have a look at your price point this evening. $14.95. I'm sorry, but I just heard the most hilarious thing from director Bruce. He's on fire tonight. He just said, actually, if people are planning ahead for Valentine's Day, Pete, can you make sure you reinforce your letterbox for the start of 2015? Call him. Who's he talking to? No, is that just everybody in your fan club? Just give him a call sometime. His number is 14.95. I don't know his number off by heart anyway. Don't know why he's panicked. $14.95 for 80 carats. And I tell you what, I couldn't get out of my front door last Valentine's Day. In fact, I'd lost my keys. $14.95 for genuine amethyst here, faceted to perfection, 80 carats for that price point, and of course it does come from our Gems of Distinction range. Are we having one last look? There we go, look at that fantastic, gorgeous sparkle there. We're moving on. Are we going to do the other strand? Wow! I love the faceting. Oh, Janet, you're going to like these. Wow. If you haven't seen these before, you're definitely going to be regretting not being on your sofa.
Oh, wow.
When you see this strand. Look at that faceting. I love the fact that they're through drilled, in fact. It gives you different opportunities to the top drilled variety, doesn't it?
Definitely. I mean, if people are not as confident with perhaps working with the top drilled, I mean, easy to do with just the wire, but if, you know, sort of going straight through, they easily drop onto a head pin. So you get a different look, which is what I'm trying to say. You get a different look to the top drilled ones.
You know, we saw it yesterday with the pink amethyst and the design that Gemma had created, where she just clustered a few on those head pins onto simple pieces of chain. Just keep it simple with the gemstone that's doing all the work for you. And here, for me, it's not just the traditional colour tone that you get here, but that magnificent faceting. Yeah. They're almost like little square-shaped facets, and it just gives it a completely different dimension to what you'd normally associate with the gemstone. Almost a little more impact, like you were saying earlier. There's a slightly greater impact because of the way they've been faceted.
You get a different look, because if you wanted to sort of layer those, if you wanted an earring with sort of 3 of those in a drop, you could have 3 of them in a straight drop. Yes. And then if you want to use the top drilled ones, you get more of like a cluster technique with the top drilled. So it's horses for courses, depending on what sort of design that you want. It's, you know.
Oh, these are just absolutely exceptional. Unfortunately, they have featured on the show previously, and we are now down to limited availability. So I don't think we're going to have enough to go round here. We have fewer than 20 strands of this in stock. And I've just realised something that I said yesterday evening that was really, really stupid. So let me take it back. Okay, we've got to get the price on. Sorry, they're flying out the door. 80 carats once again, $14.95. It's just out of this world. You could just probably use the 2 outer ones of these, place them on a pair of earrings. I would probably suggest that you want a little bit of movement in your design to make the most of the faceting, don't you? You want people to be able to appreciate that slightly less regular style of faceting. You don't see that every day, and so you want to make that a feature of the design, to my mind. And I've just heard from my producer that everybody who's already come through is about to get a little bit of a treat. You've got to take these lower, I'm being told.
Oh wow.
We're honouring a previous price slash on this strand down to $11.95. Once again, handing you back the equivalent of your P&P, a risk-free strand to add to your order. And that's because you do get a 30-day money-back guarantee on everything you purchase from us here at JewelleryMaker. Last night, they all went the same direction on the strand. And I was thinking, and I actually think that I might have commented on that, saying, oh, this is more useful because they all go in one direction. That doesn't make any difference when they're through drilled. Now that I see the alternative strand, well, the only difference it makes to us this evening is that now we know I'm a moron. $11.95 is the price reduction on this strand. Got the exact same opportunities with these, so sorry about that. At least I'm prepared to admit when I get something wrong. Naomi's texting to say, oh Ed, you do cheer me up with your bad jokes. Because, yeah, the Valentine's joke, I know what you're talking about. I'm famed for my dad jokes these days. I can't wait till my son's old enough to be embarrassed at what I do for a living. I'm really going to turn the screw then. $11.95, 80 carats of amethyst, and don't forget that price reduction will only be available for the next 60 minutes. See? I told you I'd embarrass you. Right, we're moving on. 17, you say? Okay, now my producer's given me a little bit of a chance. He said, can you guess what this is? Let's everybody do it together, so I don't know. Well, based on the colour tone, I can only think of one gemstone, although I like the question because I wouldn't expect to see seed beads of aquamarine. And, of course, based on the quality of the aquamarine we've been sourcing at the moment, that probably wouldn't fit into the pricing strategy on a price avalanche. We know it has to go, you're not allowed to do it for $14.95 because you dropped the previous strand to $11.95. Oh, he says that's okay. I thought he was trying to trick us there and say, oh, well, this is lower than $14.95. This is going to go under $11.95. Can you imagine one of their little beady beads made out of aquamarine? Wow. That's a nice idea, I think. Micro macrame with aquamarine.
You could bead loom with them.
Yes, bead loom. That would be fantastic on that kind of design, wouldn't they?
You could sort of round a cabochon. You could set them around a cabochon.
Yes, soutaches.
Actually, the rose quartz cabochons you had from earlier, perhaps some aquamarine around the rose quartz, I think that'd look pretty.
Maybe if you know somebody who's about to give birth, but you don't know whether they're going to have a girl or a boy, you can have the rose quartz cabochon surrounded by the
cover
aquamarine.
All bases.
Yeah. That's a fantastic idea. Now, of course, when you're looking at the delicate cuts, it's not about the carat weight you're receiving. For me, it's about the wastage. Imagine how much aquamarine you've had to cut away in order to actually form these very delicate 2mm rounds. And again, I suppose this is a cut that people might have been a little bit standoffish about in the past, but then again, it's probably soutache, and I mean, beady beads have always been popular.
Yeah.
But the 2mm rounds, of course, they do intimidate some jewellery makers because they're more comfortable working with the large rounds. But when you start to actually work with these cuts, I mean, I don't know how many times we've actually had 2mm rounds of aquamarine. Don't know how many times we'll be able to use these. But once you start to use them,
you Kumihimo with them, so you can put them into a Kumihimo braid.
Absolutely.
With the ring that I made earlier, you know, you could do that sort of technique with them. So, or you could do a wire frame and then just drop those in as accents.
Beautiful, yeah.
There's lots and lots of things, lots of techniques you can use them for.
In fact, you could just use them as a traditional accent stone, of course.
Yeah.
So if you've got a feature gemstone and you want something alongside them, these are very delicate in terms of their size, but also their colour tone.
Yeah.
As you've got that beautiful sky blue from your aquamarine. 2mm rounds here, and here comes your price. Under £10. Absolutely amazing for aquamarine. And again, you can really see the quality of the aquamarine in this strand because you've got that consistent sort of sky blue colour tone across the entire strand. There's no real variations. In the past, we've had huge variations in the colour tones on our aquamarine across the strand, but this evening, very, very consistent.
It's just amazing though, isn't it? The size of them. Just how they're produced like that, you know, it's mind-blowing.
Well, you can imagine you might be a bit nervous when somebody hands you some aquamarine and tells you to cut it to a 2mm round. You'll be like, oh, don't slip. Very, very uniform in their size and their colour tone there, and all for under £10, an essential for a lot of different jewellery makers based on the disciplines that these lend themselves towards. Okay, we're going to leave that one with you. We're going to try to cram in as many as we can before our next star buy deal, and we're now going to bring you 925 sterling silver toggle clasps. I'll tell you what, if you are planning to create designs for your craft fairs, we've already touched upon this slightly when we've been talking about creating more alternative items like your glasses chains, for example, or your bookmarks maybe. But I'll tell you another thing that's going to be massive at craft fair stalls over the Christmas period: cufflinks. Because they're the kind of item that you know a man can make use of. In fact, even if somebody doesn't necessarily wear cufflinks every day, it's nice to have some cufflinks sort of in your stash, and if you can make genuine gemstone cufflinks from it, they're a perfect stocking filler, aren't they, I always think, and that's the kind of item that will get picked up at a craft fair. Yeah,
at Christmas people are always looking for sort of gifts for the guys, you know. And when I've done craft fairs before, people have said to me, have you got anything, you know, for the guys?
And gents,
and cufflinks has always been the thing that people go for, yeah.
I've actually developed a bit of a passion for cufflinks over the last few months. I have a growing collection. So anytime you feel like putting together a pair of cufflinks on the show, Janet, I will just grab I'll grab my tweezers so I can show you, because these, not only for cufflinks, of course, traditionally your toggle clasp is going to be used as a fastening for your bracelets or necklaces, and once again, huge amounts of detailing on the metalwork, which again adds to the character and the personality of your design, but also because you've got detailed 95 sterling silver here, it's adding value to your piece of jewellery as well. We were touching on this earlier. People almost expect to pay a premium when you're working with sterling silver, and of course at our price points you don't necessarily have to charge a premium. You get 3. I mean, I would describe that as a rope effect finish on the metalwork. It might have a different name, I'm not sure.
No, rope.
Yeah,
rope
cool,
effect, that would go in there.
And I suppose that fits into certain themes of jewellery making as well. You know, nautical style looks always tend to have the rope effect findings, and actually bespoke jewellery as a whole tends to have a bit more detailing in the metalwork, doesn't it? So these definitely in keeping with the high-end designs that you might be putting together, maybe as gifts, maybe to sell, or maybe for yourself. You deserve the best, of course, as well. And 95 sterling silver, you get 3 clasps in total here. I've got to get the price on screen because we are inching ever closer to our next star buy. And oh wow, there you go, sterling silver for £6.95. Very, very impressive. Great way to actually maybe increase the stock levels on your findings, because these are the kind of items that people tend to run out of more often, aren't they? The essential, the mechanics of your designs, if you like. You're always going to need clasps, toggle clasps as well. The thing I always think is really important to consider about a toggle clasp is they're perfect for more gem-heavy pieces, because of course the heavier they are, the more secure the fastening is with the toggle clasp. But
that price, £6.95, I did a bit of research today. I was looking at toggle clasps and things, and silver-plated toggle clasps. I mean, they weren't even silver plated, they were silver colour toggle clasps.
Oh right, so it wasn't even sterling silver.
No,
no. Oh, okay.
£1 each.
Really?
Yeah, and that, you know, that's just like a base metal and a silver colour. You know, and you've got there, you've got.
This is solid silver, 95 sterling silver.
It's just, yeah, that's crazy. And they are really pretty, and like you say, they just add so much to a design as well.
So what's the metal work, the metal weight on this particular item, just so we can get an idea of what we're investing in. So there you go, 3 grams of sterling silver as part of this. So that's basically a gram of silver in each clasp there.
Yeah, at that,
amazing,
that
for £6.95.
Yeah.
So you can pay, you know, similar prices for plated or even base metals. So that is an incredible deal. No wonder so many jewellery makers coming through for that particular deal. Lots of people multi-buying there, so if you can, appreciate the value there, particularly if you're selling, or of course not just the actual value, but stocking up on your essential items, always useful, because I've actually experienced this myself, the frustration of getting halfway through a design and then finding out you can't finish it off. And it's not to do with not being able to master the technique or not having large enough gemstones, but because you haven't got the essential clasp you need to
but having something like that just lifts your design, takes it up to another level, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And you know, you don't have to wear that at the back of the neck. You can have that as a design feature at the front of the neck.
Absolutely.
So using sterling silver toggles just elevates your design. And if you are selling, I know I go on about selling, but if you are selling, then you know that's going to reflect in the price that you can ask
yes,
for.
this is something I always touch upon, actually, because sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to justify your price point to your customers, because they're not going to understand that you've done 4 hours worth of wire work. So the way to do that is by working with high-end gemstones or precious metals. They don't need to know you paid a wholesale price for the clasp. You're just justifying the price point that you deserve to achieve on the piece, but by sort of breaking it down for your customers. So I've worked with sterling silver, I've included garnet and apatite in the design, and that's the way to justify the amount of time and creativity you've put into the piece. I've got to leave it there, I'm afraid, because it is now time to bring you another Star Buy bundle. Welcome back to Jewellery Maker. Time now for another wholesale bundle in the form of 2 gems of distinction strands. Now, I actually love this combination of colour tones, and we did talk about it yesterday evening and how well the colour combination actually works. We've also discussed at length the rising popularity of apatite across the industry. And actually, Gemma was talking last night about the fact that she'd seen Tyra Banks wearing an apatite pendant or necklace, I think she was saying. And so, I'm telling you, apatite is going to become the next big gemstone. You know, I don't know for a fact, of course, I can't see into the future, but whenever you see a gemstone start to be used more heavily by designers, I always say, you know, America makes things famous. That's just what they do, don't they? They're just like huge media outlets and all the red carpets and all the movies, I suppose, that they create. They tend to bring things into the mainstream, and so I see this becoming a very, very popular gemstone. I think it's only a matter of time before everybody wants to own apatite. And you know what's going to happen? The second apatite becomes the most sought after gemstone, the price points are going to shoot through the roof, and then we won't be able to get hold of it and whatnot. So I would always take advantage of these little bits of industry knowledge that people tend to just throw away here at the Genuine Gemstone Company, and maybe use them to inform your designs for the coming season. As I say, I can't guarantee it's going to be a big seller, but do you know what? The gemstone is rather magnificent in its own right. Apart from, you know, its rising popularity, I mean, just look at that colour tone, these rich swimming pool or tropical blues that you get here. It's gorgeous. And again, it's one of those colour tones that you don't really see in any other gemstones. I mean, if you think about aquamarine, it's much more of a sky blue, it's a much more subtle tone. This has got much richer.
And that rondelle shape as well is just perfect, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because it sits between other gemstones. If you want to put them with other gemstones, it sits perfectly with other gemstones. Again, I know I go on about rings, but rings at the moment is my passion. Just a sort of 5 of those in a band and wire out to make a perfect ring. And
we saw, we've seen a few different varieties of those ring designs. I remember Deb Rudge had used the ribbon cord endings to create traditional shoulders, and she used a similar style of putting 4 or 5 rondelles in the centre.
Perfect
so,
for that.
you know, again, you know, a sort of a design that's rising in popularity as well, the idea of using the rondelles in ring designs, and of course it means you can be a bit more sparing with your carat weight, but still get that impact, because of course it's a smaller piece of jewellery, so you don't need to have lots and lots of carat weight. Now, I've talked heavily about apatite. Of course, we saw it in the green variety earlier, which is a much more alternative variety. This, however, is much more eye-catching, I suppose, much more traditional. This is your sky blue apatite. Oh, now I've only discussed half the bundle, and half the stock's already been allocated, so I better get on to the other strand here. And it comes in the form of beautiful red garnet. Now these are these sort of pomegranate tones, really, and this is where the gemstone holds its most traditional values, in this rich red and purple tone that you see with garnet. You traditionally associate with garnet. We know, of course, that it does come in a variety of different colours. You do get your grossular garnets like your spessartite or your tulele or your zavarite. So there are varying types of garnet. I say that because, you know, it's not a traditional gemstone family, it is more of a type of gemstone. And here you've got the traditional variety, that rich red tone. It's interesting actually, because when you look at it from certain angles, you get almost a violet hue coming through, but then when you look at it from other angles, you get almost a cognac tone coming through. So lots of different colour variations there, which might take you in different creative opportunities. Okay, I'd love to continue to talk about these gems of distinction strands because I really have fallen in love with them, but 3/4 of the stock has already been allocated, so we've got to get the price on screen to have... Oh! Did you mean to do that? For these strands?
What, for both of them?
Yeah, you'd have to choose one. Even though it looks like you should, right?
Yeah. I'd pay that and more for one of them.
What? Even I am taken aback at that price point. That is unbelievable. I wondered why it was so. I mean, I should never wonder why, really, because the colour tone, they're traditional gemstones, they're faceted, they come from our gems of distinction range. But I did think, wow, the phone lines are a bit busy for this one, aren't they? People are in early for this. I'm speechless, and that doesn't happen very often. I can tell you that, and anybody who's ever met me can tell you that as well. Oh wow, I love this ring design. Now this is actually, has this whole suite been created by Suzanne, or? Because obviously the same idea has occurred to Suzanne. She's created one of these Rondelle style rings here. You like that?
But see how simply, you know, to use what, 5 of those, and you've got a beautiful ring there.
I think sometimes this is a consideration when people do start to sell their jewellery. When they first start jewellery making, you know, traditionally you're making for yourself, aren't you? So you can afford to be a little bit more indulgent. Well, at £4 a strand, you definitely can afford to be indulgent. Even I can't justify that price point. So you can afford to create a very luxurious piece of jewellery for yourself, but once you're investing in gemstones to sell and to create profits, you do need to come up with sort of innovative and quirky ways to make that carat weight go a little bit further, don't you?
And that's it. I think when you're buying to sell, you do look at strands in a different way. You want to maximise the you know, the profit basically that you're going to be making from it.
Absolutely.
But without compromising on the design or you know, without doing them justice. You want to do them justice, and you know, you want to give people the best designs you can,
absolutely,
at affordable prices, but you're still going to make profit with them.
Yeah. I'm actually offended by your price point, Liv. So you can get it off the screen. It's probably imperative that we do, because I think we've actually got more buyers than available stock. And I was just thinking, have a look at this for a combination, because you've almost got your transitional strand here in the form of your solar quartz, because you've got the pinks and the greenish blues coming through there.
They go well together, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So you could just use one of these as a pendant, maybe with the apatite on the strand, maybe alternating between the apatite and the garnet. Don't tell anybody you only paid £4 for your apatite and your garnet. And of course, we are going to have an exclusive price point available on your solar quartz. I'm just going to tell you now, if you don't come through early, you are going to miss out. I feel confident in saying that, because every time I've brought you solar quartz previously, it's been a sellout. That is coming up. Oh wow. As usual, time flies when you're having fun, and that is just 10 minutes away. You see? Tech Up Sam acting all clever there, saying, and you'll need the bus because you're selling it in 1 second's time, and then she took it off the desk. She is fantastic, Sam is. That's what it is. She's just too efficient now. That's what it is. So this is the bust that we displayed the design on. You won't receive the design, I'm afraid, but it does give you a good idea of the way the necklace designs will hang on the bust. This is the smaller bust, so perfect for more of those sort of delicate designs. Lots of people using the bust as, well, basically a tool in the jewellery design process, because you'll get to see how the actual design will naturally flow and how the gemstones will naturally sit once it's on the décolletage, and so that can inform the actual creative process. But of course, if you are selling your designs, I'm sorry to keep going on about it, but it is a consideration for a lot of jewellery makers. This is the way to do it. This is the way, once again, to set yourself apart from other jewellery makers, because people will associate your store with professionalism and with high standards and with an attention to detail if you're presenting your jewellery designs in appropriate and professional manner. On top of that, your designs look better when they're placed on this kind of bust. They just draws the eye, doesn't it, rather than when you've just got it all laid out. Yeah,
I think if you're doing craft fairs, or you're selling, you know, if you've got an outlet that you're selling, displaying your jewellery on busts like this is you know, essential, especially if you want to sort of reach certain price points. Because if someone's coming into a craft fair and they're going to spend like £50 or £60 on a piece of jewellery, they want to see it sort of displayed professionally, and it's people's perception of that piece of jewellery that you know, the bust helps you achieve that.
Absolutely. But it's all about the perceived value, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
But as you said, also in the design process and the making process, for me, I always use a bust when I'm making necklaces, and to see how they hang, because when they're flat on the table, you know, you don't always get to see how things are going to hang when they're being worn. So for me, I've always got a bust there ready to sort of work on.
And I suppose it's a bit more difficult to manipulate things if you're having to put it on your own neckline and using a mirror. It's not the same.
No, and unless you've got someone sitting with you all the time that's willing to sort of let you drape jewellery around them.
I don't fancy that job.
No. So this is a much better option.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people would probably love that, actually, to be bejewelled all day, just sit there wearing the jewellery, but not for me. $7.95 is the price, but if you think about this, because you've got the leatherette finish there, it does give you that feeling of high standards and quality design there. And of course, if you don't show your customers the value in your design, you can't expect them to appreciate the value that you're prepared to offer them. So $7.95, it's going to help you make the money back in probably one craft fair. We'll move on because we only have a very limited number available on that bust, and we're going to bring you, oh yes, look at this rainbow moonstone. I am absolutely over the moon about the quality of this gemstone at the moment. Fortunately, the guys in the gallery didn't pick up on that one, so I'm not getting too much abuse.
Yet.
Even if there is a tumbleweed rolling across the gallery right now. No, I have to say, it's another gemstone that highlights the improvement in the quality of the gemstones over the last few years here at JewelleryMaker. I remember when, you know, we really struggled to show you the agilurescence in the gemstone. It was always there, but the studio lighting, it wouldn't allow it to come through. It was a little bit cloudier, I suppose. That was the real problem. This is exquisite. I feel 100% confident I'm going to be able to show you the agilurescence here. That's the optical effect that you find in Moonstone. Have a look at this. There you go, look at that. That is exceptional. It looks like somebody's put an LED inside the gemstone. That's how much it's glowing.
Imagine those in like cascade earrings, just lots of them clustered together, and as they move, all that schiller that you're going to get from them.
It's just amazing, isn't it? And this is more of the traditional agilurescence, the blues and the violet tones that you'd associate traditionally with the gemstone. Just try. Oh, there you go. A little rainbow inside that one. So you've got the golden tones and the greens in there as well. Fantastic. I will say, this really highlights the idea of working with birthstones, because I have an immediate draw to this strand because it's my birthstone. Moonstone is June's birthstone, and so I have that personal association with Moonstone. I have to just say, this is a gemstone I do own, and I'm wearing it this evening. Funnily enough, it is just a coincidence, but have a look at the agilurescence that I've got in this moonstone. These have been faceted and set into a jewellery design that have been sold here at Gems TV. And then have a look at the agilurescence that you're going to get in this strand. Not too dissimilar. There you go, look at that colour tone. Now are you being serious? What's going on with the prices? This is already $14.95. So it was already 33.3 pence per carat. That is ridiculous. Pete, get out here. I don't want to have to take the blame for this. I'll tell you what, if the owners of the company tune in now and they just have a look at the quality of the gemstones that we have here on JewelleryMaker and the price points that we're allowing people to invest in this, they're going to be besides themselves. They're going to be thinking, why didn't we set this into gold and sell it on Gems TV? Or even into a masculine design, because Moonstone definitely works for the gents as well. I wear mine with pride. There you go, you can see it there. And actually, I think it's another one of those gemstones. Pete! And then think about walking away with your cupcake. Oh, all right, I'll take the blame. Forget it.
I was ready.
$9.95. He's more interested in eating his cupcake. So look at him, stuffing his face. And I'll tell you something, that's not the first cupcake I've seen you with either, is it? What are you on your second or your third?
Second.
All right, we'll believe you. Pete is our magnificent floor manager, and he's got to keep his energies up for all those phone calls he's got to take from his fan club later this evening. Unbelievable. Pete, how can you even walk in those boots? Because you're getting way too big for them. Right, $9.95. We're moving on. What are we gonna go on to now? Here we go. Look at this. And this is like going from sort of one end of the spectrum to the other on this particular strand, I think, because again, you've got these very popular blue tones, but rather than having a very delicate faceted gemstone, these are high impact, polished, perfect rounds. They're 12mm in size. Earlier on we had some sodalite, which was much more traditional. It almost had those sort of denim blue colours and lots of the white tones in. These are much richer colour saturation. They almost have a, I don't know if this is going to sound silly, but they almost have a planet-like feel to them. Do you know what I mean? They almost look like little planets.
Yes, they do, with all the different banding and the different effects you get on them.
And it's almost sort of the colour of the sky at night as well. It's a midnight blue sort of tone, isn't it?
It's a really beautiful colour, isn't it?
Gorgeous. Oh, unfortunately, limited availability. These have proved to be very popular. I think you can understand why, really, because it's a bit of an alternative variety of sodalite that actually does, for me, add a little more depth to your designs if you are working with sodalite. Oh, these are flying out the door, so we've got to bring the price on screen. Not really surprising when we're offering you over 300 carats, 350 carats in fact, for $8.95. They are 12mm rounds, so you do get that impact not only from the colour but also from the size. And again, they've got that high polished finish, which I actually do think feeds in to high-end design. These are ones for me, for people who maybe do focus on the classic beading designs, you know, who do rely on the plain rounds, because they're just something very, very different.
Yeah, I think they're beautiful, and they're a great size as well, the 12mm. They make great chunky bracelets. I would make a chunky bracelet and wrap some gold wire around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're beautiful.
That's a really popular technique with lots of different designers, and tends to be how people get introduced with wire work, isn't it?
And I know Jem had a necklace on last night that she was saying, oh sorry, the tutorial she was saying about this on the website. Well, that gemstone, that size, you could do that technique with that.
And you could do it on a bracelet, a sort of bangle style design, or you could do it on the neckline. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly, you know, that's where my mind went to as well when you said that about the wire wrapping. So that's good. Great minds and all that.
Yep.
Where are we going to? Sorry. Oh, Star Buy time. Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time now for another Star Buy, and this is another exclusive premiere piece. This is your watermelon solar quartz. Solar quartz does tend to be very, very popular here at JewelleryMaker, and I think it's because you get a very characteristic gemstone, but also a very organic gemstone. Because when you look at the gemstone, it does draw your attention to it, and it's because of the imperfections. It actually, you can see the way the crystal is actually formed around a little tiny imperfection, and it tends to create this beautiful organic shape, but very characteristic in that. I mean, I can just see a little flower there. I'm sure most people can see that, surely. Yeah, but that's another one, isn't it, there? And that's got more of the feminine tones there. Called watermelon solar quartz because of the dyeing colours have given it this dark green and fuchsia tone. But they do range in size from 12 by 10 to 21 by 14, is it? Something like that. But they are very irregular in their size and shape, so I don't think the size is necessarily the main consideration, because, well, I actually looked at these and thought, surely these have got to be a focal point for a design. And when we were discussing it before the show, you agreed with me, didn't you, Jane? You were telling us what you would do with them, basically. Yeah.
I think what I would probably do is set them into pendants and make pendants. And we were talking about the craft fair and how you can sort of put yourself apart from other jewellery makers, and by using gemstones like this and offering, just, you know, set them into pendants, and you could even have a whole section of pendants, wire wrap pendants, and people could, you know, choose their own stone, and then just sort of have a pendant section and then have a cord section, and people can marry the two up again. And again, it's about getting your customer involved in that whole process, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And they're just so beautiful. So every single one, even if you wire wrap them all the same, every single one would be different.
Absolutely, that's a great point actually, because often when people are investing in jewellery designs at a craft fair, they're looking for a bespoke piece. Yeah. And it might not be that the style has to be different, but the gemstone itself can offer you that individuality, can't it?
Beautiful.
The other thing that we sort of touched upon when you were saying you would use these as pendants, I sort of thought that maybe sometimes jewellery designers are so excited by the genuine gemstone that they feel like they have to get a lot into the design. But with something like this, less really is more, because there's so much going on. You want it to be the focal point.
Yeah, I think every single stone is beautiful, and you want that stone to shine. So by it being the only stone in that design, does that. So you don't, I mean, you can put them all into one design if you want, in one piece if you want to, but personally I think by just setting each one apart shows its true beauty.
Yeah, you're almost adding value to the gemstone by setting it on its own, because you're showing basically that Mother Nature's created all of these independently, and you can see the way the gemstones formed. I think that's a massive draw, especially for people investing in bespoke jewellery designs, because I think sometimes they want that connection with Mother Nature. They want to know it's the real deal, and here you definitely get that effect from the gemstone. It's a sort of an added bonus that it actually lends itself to looking like particular items. I mean, that for me is just...
But that, you could actually prong set that one and use the actual shape of it to put your prong sort of in between the way it goes around. So work with each gemstone differently, and each gemstone will sort of dictate how you work with it.
Absolutely. So again, that sort of guides you through the creative process, because the little indentations form a place for you to create your prongs.
That's right, yeah.
Fantastic. Just because I said before, I thought it was 21 by 40. It's actually, the largest one is 21 by 18 millimetres. But there are lots of variations, of course, throughout, because you've got very organic shapes here. Tends to be a very, very popular gemstone. You've actually got 160 carats here. Whenever we've launched watermelon solar quartz in the past, it has traditionally sold out. So again, please take my advice, get on the phone lines early. We will be able to offer you an exclusive launch price this evening, and here it comes, $9.95. And if you are going to be, a little bit more strategic, I don't think you're actually doing anybody a disservice by not piling them all into one design. I think really you're highlighting the beauty of the gemstone, but that means you can make a huge amount of profit off this strand, because here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can't guarantee you'll get 9. You might get 8, you might get 10. I think there might be very slight fluctuations, but on average you're going to get around about 9 gemstones, and you're getting all that for under £10. Now if you do use them individually and you create wire wrap pendants, I mean, those, how much would those be? Well,
you charge that plus, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah,
that
for each one.
For each one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you took the centre one and turned that into a pendant, maybe the two smaller ones at each end into earrings, you've got a set which you could charge 20 plus for, I would say, and then you've got the rest of them then to make the pendants from. You've got options with them. And
these are definitely earring sized solar quartz, aren't they? Yeah, fantastic.
Stunning.
So you can see there. And actually, I like the fact that they don't mirror one another, because that, again, feeds into that sort of bespoke nature. It adds into that
organic feel of it as well, doesn't it? They don't have to, they don't have to match exactly.
Yeah, not at all.
And it just adds to the interest of them, I feel.
You can see here that our JewelleryMaker has managed to find 2 that are quite consistent, and I think these have been put together by Suzanne, was it?
Sue JG.
Sue JG. Yeah. Oh, Sue. Right, okay. So Sue's put these. Sorry, right. Sue's put these together. I got confused there. Thank you very much, Sue. And I'll tell you the other thing I love about this: a little bit of movement in the way these have been sort of suspended inside there. So I like that, because these are, statement earrings, aren't they? It's fantastic design.
And that's the sort of simple setting that you want for them, because you want the focus to be on the gemstone.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that you see each individual characteristic of the gemstone. And
totally agree.
Yeah, so a setting like that does that.
Yeah, you want that open setting. You want the gemstone to do the talking here, and it's because of the nature of the way the crystals form, the gorgeous colour toning throughout the gemstone, and of course those beautiful shapes which actually do lend that organic nature to your designs. Under £10 is our exclusive launch price for 160 carats of watermelon solar quartz this evening. If you do want to get involved, start dialing the free phone number, and if you have placed it in your basket, click to buy now, and then of course check out, otherwise you could miss out. We'll leave it there. We're going to go to a quick break. When we return, more incredible deals, and we will be inching ever closer to our superstar buy, which is those wholesale deals for those beautiful star and heart shaped head pins. So don't move a muscle. We'll be back in 2.
It was here almost 650 years ago in Amir, where King Jai Singh first laid the foundations that was to become one of the world's most famous walled cities, Jaipur. The city of Jaipur, commonly known as the Pink City, is now taking centre stage for gemstone cutting and trading. It's here in the bursting heart of the walled city that our gems of distinction strands are cut, faceted and polished. So, how do you get a pile of tourmaline that looks like this into a gorgeous strand that looks like this? So when you've got a pile of tourmaline like this, it's going to be made into gemstone beads. First of all, each one of these gemstones need to be inspected. A line is then drawn down the middle of the gemstone or wherever the gem is going to be faceted, and it's then taken behind us and then faceted into these rough gem shapes. Once each gemstone has been cut into the amount of pieces it needs to be, it's then time to shape the gemstones. These gentlemen are working on anything from a round to a pear shape, pretty much any cut imaginable. The next process is polishing and faceting, and this takes a huge amount of skill. It can take years for a lapidrist to be able to facet like this, and each one of the gemstones can take up to 10 minutes to cut. A really lengthy but incredible process. The next stage of the process is really interesting. This is where each one of the gemstones is drilled. And what Sanjay's doing here is putting a drill through faceted beads of black tourmaline. The next stage after drilling is then to get the gemstones sorted into their appropriate colours and sizes. This can be a really, really lengthy process. Once the gemstones are sorted into different colours and sizes, they're then arranged into these strands and made into strands like this. Now each one of these gemstones could have gone through a 30 to 40 minute process to arrive on a strand like this. It's really quite incredible. If there's one thing that my time in India has taught me, it's the hours of dedicated time that goes into making each one of the gemstones we sell on JewelleryMaker.
JewelleryMaker ships to the following countries. We offer 2 delivery services, standard and premium. So wherever you are in the world, JewelleryMaker are never far away. If you love classic jewellery, then why not come and join guest designer Gemma Crow on our vintage workshop. Gemma will guide you through various beading and wirework techniques which will inspire you to create timeless designs from a bygone era. The full course includes a selection of wire, a selection of findings and charms, a bead scoop, use of all relevant tools and equipment, a buffet lunch and refreshments, a tour of the studio and a visit to our gemstone museum. All of this for just $69.95. Have a blast from the past and take home some amazing designs. For further information, contact our call centre on 0800 644 655. Do you need a helping hand to get started with JewelleryMaker? Are you stuck for ideas and need inspiration? Then visit our JewelleryMaker website, where you can find our video tutorials. Expand your knowledge and skills with these easy-to-follow jewellery making demonstrations. Whether you're a beginner, hobbyist, or business owner, there's always something new to learn. It couldn't be easier. Simply click and learn some new jewellery making techniques.
Welcome back to the late show here on JewelleryMaker. We now are into the final hour of the show, and now the final opportunities to add to that 1 PMP per day. Don't worry, we're going to find something for everyone in the next 50 minutes or so. Coming up in just 20 minutes time, our next Star Buy bundle. These are your top drilled drops. So got traditional cut here at JewelleryMaker. We've discussed its versatility throughout the show. The colour tones are magnificent. These are the items that you placed alongside the sterling silver little branch earlier, weren't they? Yeah, the Peridot and the rose quartz. And then this is top quality tiger's eye. Again, you can just see the improvement in the quality of the gemstones. Not to say that it wasn't good before, but now we really are entering this sort of upper echelons of quality when it comes to your gemstones. So rose quartz, peridot and tiger's eye coming up as a wholesale bundle in 20 minutes time. At the close of the show, we will bring you our superstar buy, and that comes to you in the form of 2 wholesale bundles. Now these are 2 independent items. They will be launched separately, although I do think we're going to have a lot of people multi-buying, or certainly getting one of each on their gold-plated head pins. So you've got the heart-shaped head pin and the star-shaped head pin. We've already seen these used to great effect by Janet in some of her designs earlier this evening, and I imagine there's a lot of jewellery makers out there who already have designs in mind when it comes to these, I suppose, iconic symbols and shapes within jewellery design, aren't they? Stars and hearts.
Yeah, stars and hearts are always popular, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. They just add a little bit of personality and character to the design instantly, don't they? So those are coming up at the end of the show. Am I right in saying, how many did you get on each of the head pins? How many did you get in the bundles? All right, that's what I thought, yeah. So 100 in each individual item. So 100 of your hearts and then 100 of your star-shaped head pins coming up back to back at around about 8:45, 10 to 9. We're going to move on though, because we're going to fit in a few more clearance deals before then. And we're going to start with a double deal on your black rutile quartz or tourmalated quartz, depending on how you see it. And they've just got a little bit tangled there. Let me untangle it. Get off. There we go. Love this gemstone. This is one for the people who do have a bit of a passion for gemology, I think, because this really goes to highlight what we're looking for with genuine gemstones. And that is Mother Nature's hand in the formation. You can see here, she's placed these little tourmaline inclusions inside your quartz there, and it creates a monochrome gemstone. So already it's leading you down a certain design path, but no one's going to be able to deny that these are genuine gemstones because of those irregularities. And just like Janet was saying at the end of the last hour, these are the kind of gemstones that make each and every design completely individual and bespoke, I suppose. Yeah,
everyone's unique, isn't it? Every single one would be unique.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're just stunning, aren't they?
And they'll go with anything, because you've got the 2 neutrals there, the black and the white.
You could keep the monochrome look, or you could add a pop of colour in with them as well. So beautiful.
Maybe some of those pinks that we talked about earlier. In fact, we've got some rose quartz right here, so that might be... Oh yeah, it does work.
Yes.
I like that. I'm proud of myself. These are, in the words of Lucy, mahoosive. They're absolutely gigantic. They range in size from 16 by 12, that's the smallest one, up to 34 by 23. So I'd probably say that each and every one of these large enough to be used as a pendant, as the focal point of your design. And we do get lots of new buyers every day here at JewelleryMaker, so I will make my usual reference. I always think these look like paintbrush strokes inside the gemstone. Almost looks like a Japanese art or something like that. But yeah, certainly you can see that Mother Nature stamped her approval on each and every gemstone. These are faceted as well, so again, adding value to your design. Normally, based on the carat weight here, over 200 carats on each strand, you'll be paying $27.95 from Gems of Distinction range. I'm already blown away by the value in that. But tonight, buy one, get one for, what, £6, £7? £7 is it? £7.
Wow.
Well, so basically you're saving £20 with this particular deal. There you go, that's the way to think about it. You just put a £20 note back in your pocket. I'm trying to work out what you can get one for. You're saving £20 and you get 470 carats for $34.95.
They're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you say, the brush strokes on there, they're like little pictures. If you look at them, you get sort of little shapes, and they're just stunning, absolutely stunning. And you could treat them like a cabochon as well. You know, you could treat them as a cabochon, but with the added sort of security, if you wanted to, of the drill hole to help secure the stone in place.
You can secure it in place using the drill hole.
So if you've just started wire work perhaps, and you're not as confident with your wire work, use the drill hole to secure it in place.
Brilliant.
So you know that it's not going to move.
So this is almost like to experiment that technique with, and you've got the sort of
security
safety net of having the drill hole. That's a great way to look at it. And of course you're working with a beautiful gemstone, very, very unique, and something that's going to be very, very popular with gemologists or collectors, people who do have an interest in gemstones and gemology. I always do point this out when we're talking about rutile quartz, that if you're ever lucky enough to come down to the studios, maybe you attend a workshop or our Sunday morning show, and you do go on the tour around the studios, you also get to go down to the museum, and this features the owner of the company's personal collection of gemstones, which has the largest cut morganite in the world, a rubellite, which is ridiculous. Generally you tend to find no more than a carat of rubellite. This must be about 20 carats of rubellite in there. You've got this huge tanzanite in there, and alongside all of these very, very prestigious gemstones, some of them the most prestigious gemstones in the world for their variety, are two massive rutile quartz. And I know for a fact that the owner of the company, who's a real life gem hunter, has a real passion for this gemstone, so you can feel confident that when you're selling, this is going to attract people in the know. $34.95 is our clearance price, available for the next 60 minutes. Say number 2. Here we go. Now we've got your beautiful lemon topaz, another of November's birthstones, and I'll tell you what, this is the variety you want if you want to include both of November's birthstones in one design, because these have almost a citrine-like tone to them, although they're almost a hybrid between imperial topaz and citrine. When you look at the colour tone and the inclusions, absolutely gorgeous. And of course topaz, another of those gemstones, which is popular on the high street, so people are aware of it, they know about this gemstone. These are almost sort of champagne-like inclusions.
They are, aren't they? They're really beautiful. And they're not faceted, but I think that in this particular gemstone, that's a benefit to it, because really the colour and the character of the gemstone shines through, doesn't it?
Yeah, you get you almost get the texture from the inclusions, don't you? It almost looks like a texture, even though it hasn't been faceted. Totally
really
agree with that.
Colour.
And again, you've got that graduation in size. They range from 6x5, maybe your earring designs, up to 12x5, which would be more suitable for your pendants, perhaps. Normally, these would be $14.95, coming from our Gems of Distinction range. But we are going to give you another clearance price. This is a double deal. We've put two together. It's buy one, get one for £3 this evening. Normally you pay $14.95 for the strand. This is a great consideration. At the moment, we've been talking about the idea of watching the Late Show with a fellow jewellery maker and then really making the most of these double deals. So you can both, you're only going to pay 1p&p between you.
I wouldn't want to let it go though. I'd want both.
Really, you want both strands? There you go, greedy Janet. Why not? Why not? There you go. Don't worry, you don't have to half this with somebody. You can add lemon topaz to your order in abundance here. 200 carats for just $17.95. Absolutely incredible, and a very well-known gemstone, because it is used heavily by the high street jewellers. $17.95, very impressive. And we're now going to bring you some more essential findings. Don't forget, we've got those head pins coming up as our superstar buy. But right now we have got your rose gold plated copper findings pack. Normally you'd find these as part of our jewellery making kits on the morning show, and normally you get 115 pieces. This is a clearance double deal. So we've just been discussing how frustrating it can be to actually start the creative process and then of course not have the essential finding you need. Here you're going to be left with pretty much everything you need for every jewellery making scenario, because instead of getting 150 metres, you're getting 230 pieces. That means you've got 2 metre lengths of chain. You've got your ribbon cord endings, 3 different kinds of head pins, including the finer ones and the detailed ones, which are actually floral head pins in this ones. You've got your little heart-shaped slider clasp. You've got your shepherd hooks, your spacer beads, your crimp beads, as well as your traditional toggle clasps and your detailed toggle clasps with your crimp bead covers and your jump rings there as well. So you can just see the amount of character these are going to add into your design. And we've talked about versatility throughout the evening. Once again, rose gold colour tone, so going to work with virtually any other design. Now, for 115 pieces of rose gold plated copper, $7.95, already going above and beyond. Really? It's fantastic. Normally you'd have to pay $15.90 for 230 pieces. We're going to give you a clearance deal here. So there you go. Essentially you're getting 115 pieces of rose gold plated base metal findings for £4. That's amazing, isn't it?
Crazy.
That is absolutely out of this world. That works out at about 5p per finding for rose gold plated copper.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, you know, you're saying you were doing your own research earlier, and base metal toggle clasps, what, £1 a piece, weren't they?
£1 a piece, yeah.
There you go, enough said. And for all of the jewellery makers out there, maybe you are starting to sell. Maybe this is the first year where you're actually going to be attending those Christmas craft fairs. Make sure you're stocked up on your findings, of course. And this, again, allows you to maybe work to quite high standards and offer a high-end feel and look to your designs, but you can keep the price points down by working with the plated base metals here, because you've still got the rose gold finish.
And you're offering customers a choice as well of metals, you know, and just
that's a good point. You actually need this. So if you've got some of your precious metal chains, then you can obviously offer people an affordable option if you maybe focusing on the pendants. So you can say, well, I've got rose gold plated silver, I've got sterling silver, or I've got rose gold plated copper.
But again, it's offering a choice, isn't it, to people, and people like that. People like to have options, don't they? I like to have options as a jewellery maker. So yeah, and rose gold will go with absolutely anything. I
love it. I love actually the links on this chain. We didn't look at that very closely, but they're gorgeous. They're adding a little bit of interest into your design as well, aren't they? Not a traditional link you'd find on the chain there.
Wow.
2 metre lengths as part of this particular bundle, just $11.95 this evening. If you are coming through on our free phone number, don't panic, you will be answered very, very soon. I've just put crimp beads all over the place, so I apologise for that for managers. Please don't tell me off. Oh, actually, I think I've managed to keep them all on the desk. There we go. I'm moving that to one side. And don't forget our money-saving bundle coming up in just 5 minutes' time. Before that, we're going to find more essential double deals for all the jewellery makers out there. And this is one not to be ignored. Faceted barrels of clear quartz. It's faceted to within an inch of their lives as well. From what I can see here, they're sparkling like there's no tomorrow. Not always clear in our studio, but I think regular buyers are already aware that you can trust the quality of our gemstones. So get on the phone lines early. Wow. Again, a very traditional look from your faceted clear quartz, that gorgeous sparkle, that beautiful clarity, and of course they tend to lend themselves to certain genres of jewellery making as well, such as your bridal designs or your evening wear perhaps as well, just because it's traditional and it's high end.
Yeah.
Everyone's a magpie really, aren't they?
They're really sparkly, aren't they?
They are,
beautiful.
Aren't they? I think it might just be to do with the increased number of facets that have been placed on the surface of a gemstone. The greater the number of facets, the greater the play of light, and that is definitely evident on these strands. Normally $7.95 each, but tonight buy one get one for £3. There you go. Normally you get 110 carats. This evening 220 carats, and these are going to go an awfully long way because tend to use the clear quartz as more of an accent stone, I suppose.
But like you say, bridal, putting those into a tiara or a headband.
Absolutely.
Imagine how they would sort of catch. You wouldn't need many in there, as you say, to just add that that impact, really.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's the kind of impact that you get traditionally in the jewellery world from a diamond, isn't it? That sparkle, that elegance. Obviously, to try and get hold of this kind of carat weight of diamonds, you wouldn't be able to do, maybe move the decimal place. Oh, over here, here. And then you might be able to afford 220 carats of diamonds that offered you this clarity. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is that's the traditional look that people are trying to emulate. So obviously it's not the same value as a diamond, but
no, but you get, like you say, that sparkle and that impact from it, and just drop a few of those into a tiara band or a headband, and yeah, it's beautiful. And
the shape itself, because the barrel shape's not as traditional as maybe the rounds or the briolet cuts, does this make them, is this a benefit? Does this make it more useful?
As useful as, I mean, you know, they've all got their place within different designs, and I think that barrel shape is nice, and it will sit, like if you've got a round either side of that, you'll get a nice flow to the shape of it, so they will sit really nicely against other gemstones.
Right, so that actually create maybe a little bit of fluidity in the design as well through the shape.
You know,
that's
so
a good,
it's
good way of looking at it.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways, and because the barrel shape, you could still do flowers with them. You could make little sort of
I suppose they could be used as
flowers. You could put little,
petals,
perhaps a seed bead on the end of it to sort of round off that shape.
Nice.
So yeah, really versatile.
Again, you're only limited by your own creativity. $10.95 is a clearance price, but only available for 60 minutes. Where did you say sorry? Thank you. Here we go. Ooh, now this is agate. I can tell from the finish on the gemstone actually. It's almost as though this has received some sort of coating. Is that the case? They're really, really sparkly. They almost have a sort of waxy-like finish to them. Maybe it is just that they've been really highly polished then, because there's no mention of any coating process being used, but they're absolutely exquisite.
That's stunning, aren't they?
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
The shapes are mirrored there, aren't they? Because again, you've got this drum or barrel-like shape. Again, heavily faceted, and that's why you're getting this beautiful sparkle. I love the way these have been polished, because you've got very rich colour tones here. They're almost, actually, that's a great description. Sue in London nailed it. Marmalade, that's the colour here you've got here, isn't it? And there are very subtle variations, so you've got some that are giving you more of a golden hue, some that are giving you more of a tangerine, and even some sort of cherry reds in there as well. Very bold colour tones. These are going to be perfect for the autumn months, aren't they? I'm thinking maybe alongside the likes of Smoky Quartz or Tiger's Eye.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, rich, warm colour tones for that season. And if you do want to get involved in this, as ever, we're going to give you an exclusive price reduction. Normally these would be $8.45 per strand, but tonight you're going to get both for $9.95. So that means you can have one of these for £1.50. That's 180 carats of orange agate for £1.50 as part of this deal, of course. So I know what's going to happen, you see. I'm going to get in trouble because somebody's going to say, Ed said I could have one for £1.50. Only as part of this deal. I know what you're up to. 320 carats for less than £10. And when you do get these home, when you see them in the flesh, you will be able to appreciate that it's a slightly different finish on these gemstones. The way these have been polished, really accentuating the almost the sort of waxy luster that you're getting on the surface of the gemstone. Can you see that from where you are?
I can, because they're faceted, which gives it the sparkle, but they've also got that high polish, that high sheen to them, haven't they?
I haven't really experienced that too many times on these strands, but I'm really impressed with that, especially at that price point. It's a clearance deal this evening. Again, available for the next 60 minutes. If you want to add that to your order, you can do so in all the usual ways. I'll leave that one with you, because it is now time for a star buy. Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time now for another star buy, and on this occasion it's a wholesale bundle, and a little bit of a theme here. So we've got 3 individual strands of our top drill drops in varying sizes, gorgeous colour tones, all of which for me are very complementary and actually sort of Mother Nature's colour tones, really, almost moving through the seasons here from autumn into spring, if you like, because you've got the earthier colour tones from your tiger's eye with those chocolate browns and the golden tones, and these are, again, fantastic quality, high polish finish, allowing that traditional chatoyancy to really come to the forefront of the gemstone. These are fantastic. I mean, you want a little bit of movement in your design with these so you can appreciate that shimmer that you get, and top drill drops, perfect for earring designs, I suppose. Absolutely gorgeous. These are a real rich golden colour coming through on the chatoyancy, and quite a deep chocolate brown or conker brown, if you like, on the base of the gemstone. So those are absolutely gorgeous. They range in size from 6x4 to 11x5, so a little bit of variation in the size, but nothing too dramatic. They all work in one design. We'll move on now to these beautiful spring greens. I always think when I hear the description of Peridot being called lime green, I don't think it is quite a lime green. I think it's more like a fresh cut grass tone, something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous. I mean, Peridot is the only other gemstone that actually forms in the mantle of the Earth's crust, just like diamonds do, and so you can imagine much more intensity to the pressures and the temperatures that are inflicted upon that gemstone, and I think it's actually almost mirrored in the colour tone you get. It's one of the most vivid natural colour tones you're going to find in a gemstone here. 75 carats of Peridot, and again, decent variation in the sizes here. So you've got more delicate ones, which are 3x2mm, ranging up to 8x3, and they have a bit more of an organic quality to them because of that variation in the size, but still top drill drops, so perfect if you did want to inject that sort of spring green tone into your designs. And alongside these beautiful rose quartz, I mean, that is just a little rosebud for me, the Peridot and the rose quartz. And it's actually, the greens and browns work together, the greens and pinks work together, and the browns and pinks work together. So again,
yeah, I think
great complementary combinations.
Yeah, as a bundle, they all work together. And you know, like you say, the green and the brown together, the green and the pink and the brown. You've got lots of options with how to use them.
Absolutely. There's no combination that doesn't work really here, is there? Absolutely gorgeous. And you're getting a different impact from each gemstone. Yeah. So you've got that sort of vibrancy from the Peridot, you've got that earthy warmth from the tiger's eye, and then you've got the femininity from your rose quartz. You've actually got 80 carats of rose quartz, and again, slight variation in the sizes, ranging from 6x3 to 11x5. Wow, just heard the price point. That's why everybody was flying in. $8.95 for 3 strands of top drilled drops here. We know how popular these are. I mean, imagine just taking 5 of your rose quartz and creating a little floral motif and simple wire work.
You could make the Peridot could be the main necklace, and then put the little pink flowers on there. That would look fabulous, wouldn't
Love it, yeah.
Like a vine with the flowers on.
Oh, I really want that design to be made now. If that's what you were going to do, please send it into the Wall of Fame, because I want to see it. Because also, the top drill drops, I know we talk about the floral motifs, but they're also reminiscent of leaves as well, of course. So you can have that vine leaf design quite easily with those, can't you? Especially with the greens and the pinks. So that, for me, is just a match made in heaven, really, between your Peridot and rose quartz. $8.95, an incredible clearance price here. And I know for a fact that some people are just going to keep it simple and make the matching sets, aren't they, with the earrings and the pendants. And
you can do that, you know, you can just keep it simple and have sort of cascading earrings and pendants. But there's so much you can do with the topped jewels. So the designs that I've done, I've tried to incorporate just a couple of different ways of using them. And they are just beautiful. Absolutely amazing.
We'll have a look at your designs now, if that's all right, yeah, because a little bit of inspiration for anybody investing in these designs, and it does go to highlight just how high-end these polished gemstones look once they're set into an appropriate jewellery design. See there, the way the colour tones all complement one another.
But again, that's just like the cascading. So that's just simple, you know, on the skinny head pins, onto some chain. So that's a really easy technique. I mean, you could, you know, if I'd have got time, I'd have probably put more on there.
At that price point, though, you could easily sell that design for £10.
Yeah,
and
easily.
Who's going to say no to that? Genuine gemstones.
Yeah.
Classic look.
Yeah. And you could make a pair of matching earrings to that as well.
They're gorgeous. And again, you've made a feature of the heart-shaped head pins there that are coming up in about 15 minutes time, so not long to wait before you can add those to your order.
But again, that's just simple wire wrapping onto the head pin and then shaping the head pin around. So, you know, it's not anything too complicated.
I love this sort of classic rose quartz design you've created, the pair of earrings that are closest to me. They look fantastic.
So that's just a simple shape, and then just the, you know, a couple of the rose quartz.
I love that. They're quite subtle on the face of it, but then there's lots of different points of interest in the design. You've got the gorgeous gemstone, of course. You've got the feature of that heart, and then you've got the wirework flourish as well.
Yeah.
I mean, how long would it take you to put together an earring design like that?
Oh, you're talking minutes.
Minutes?
Yeah, minutes. Literally just shaping the wire and then just dropping on the gemstones.
So again, that allows you to keep the price point quite affordable as well.
Yeah.
There you go. Can't go wrong with that bundle. There's no way we should have been going anywhere near that price point, but that's what we do here on The Late Show. We make genuine gemstones as accessible as possible by offering you the most competitive prices on the market. Now, coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes, we are going to go above and beyond in terms of value, because we're going to bring you your essential findings back to back. 2 individual deals. We've got your star-shaped head pins and your heart-shaped head pins, and Janet's been using these to create little features within her designs all night long. And of course, we are going to give you a wholesale stock level in terms of 100 of each head pin, and of course a premiere launch price. They are going to be hugely affordable and a must-have for all jewellery makers. The perfect way to add to your 1 P&P per day this evening. So those are coming up, as I say, in about 10 or 15 minutes. Not long to wait at all. We're going to move on though, see how many deals we can fit in. How many of these you got? Ooh, they're out of this world. Do you know what? This is the most interesting strand of labradorite I've seen in 2014. I'm going to go out on a limb. We've seen those, you know, magnificent cabochons that had the colour tones, but these are, for me, just a little bit more interesting because the labradorescence isn't at the forefront of the gemstone. Because of the way they've been cut and polished to create these perfect rounds, it's almost like it really does look like an inner glow from the gemstone. Fantastic variety of colour tones in your labradorescence. We can move across the entire strand. I'm confident we're going to be able to see the labradorescence on each and every gemstone. There you go. Look at that. Keep going. Look at this labradorescence. Magnificent. Look at that. Look at that. It doesn't even look real, does it? You wouldn't, if you'd never seen labradorite before, somebody told you it was a genuine gem, you might not even believe them. That's how amazing these ones are. I mean, I'm really enamoured by these. These are gorgeous, and I love the fact that you've got different colour tones in the labradorescence on each and every gemstone. And actually, you could probably build your design around the colour tones in the labradorescence, I think. So you might choose to put that alongside, you know, sort of apricot or peach tone gemstones, and then you might choose to put this alongside more of your greenish blue gems, maybe the apatite, for example.
The aquamarine, those little aquamarine seed beads.
That is just out of this world, and I love the fact that you were able to experience the labradorite from different angles on each gemstone as well. This is amazing.
The quality of them is just outstanding, isn't it?
Exquisite. And also you've got a slightly alternative base colour to the gemstone. We're used to seeing either the greens or the stone greys. This is probably somewhere in the middle of the two, a little bit of a swirl of colour. Very earthy in terms of the colour, but as soon as the light enters the gemstone and it starts to travel at different speeds through those gemstones, you get that magnificent labradorescence. This is the optical effect that everybody is looking for in this gemstone. Not always easy to show you on our samples here at JewelleryMaker, thanks to our studio lighting, nothing to do with the gemstones, but not having any problem with these because they are so magnificent. Very individual actually, because we don't have too many plain rounds in labradorite, do we? It's not something we see every day.
You don't see, not very often, is it?
No, we see the faceted droplets or the plain drops.
But the plain round, you can't call them plain rounds really, can you?
Well, no, that's true. That is true. Non-faceted rounds, yes. That's more appropriate, isn't it? Polished rounds, we should say. Yes, there's nothing plain about them. Look at that. No. This is going to capture people's imagination, isn't it? When they see these for the first time, they're going to fall in love with genuine gemstones. In fact, I'll tell you what, cufflink designs all day long, because labradorite, I think, does tend to be popular with jewellery makers who sell their designs, because it's popular for unisex designs, so men and women tend to be drawn towards labradorite. It's out of this world. Okay, we've got to get the price on screen. $12.95 from our Gems of Distinction range. Not a cut you're going to be able to find every day here at JewelleryMaker for this gemstone. And I have to say, this has been voted as your favourite gemstone for the last 2 years here at JewelleryMaker. I wonder if it will get a hat trick at the end of this year.
It'll be interesting.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, I think it's New Year's Eve. Oh, is that all decided? Okay, so the award ceremony is supposed to take place on New Year's Eve, I'm told. And traditionally, Vicky Carr presents the awards show. One of the categories that is offered is your favourite gemstone to work with. And labradorite has won the last 2 award ceremonies. There's only been 2, so it's the resounding winner so far. Who knows what will happen this year? It might be that something else has taken people's fancy, but this is always going to be popular, because any time you get a gemstone that has such a striking optical effect within it, it's going to basically allow you to sell your designs with greater ease, I think. Gems of Distinction quality here. Polished rounds ranging in size from 8mm to 11mm, and actually that subtle graduation in itself might help to. Well, that sort of
you can build that into the design, can't you? And I think labradorite is, you know, you have that on your store. People who don't know what it is, you know, are captured by that shiller that you get from it. And again, that opens up dialogue, and people ask questions about it, and you can sort of talk about it, and. Yeah, that's just absolutely beautiful. I think
sometimes, actually it happens quite frequently and quite quickly here at JewelleryMaker. Once you're actually able to experience this day in, day out, if you're working on a channel, you almost become a little bit blasé about what you bring here. Oh, sorry, I've got to sort this out because I can't hear a thing. Hello? Yeah, I'm back in the room. Sorry, yes, so what I was going to say is I think that we become a little bit desensitised to what we're looking at here. A very, very specific set of environmental circumstances that have to take place in order for this to actually be created by Mother Nature. And yeah, we're just sort of like, because we have 2 or 3 strands a day of labradorite, we're just like, yeah, so there's the labradorescence. Imagine how many sort of thousands of years it would have taken for these rocks to actually bed in and create a new crystal formation that would offer you this incredible optical phenomenon. If you want to add that to your order, you can do so for the next 60 minutes. Right, moving on. And giving you something that's going to take Janet's fancy, I believe. Ooh. Beautiful green amethyst. Now, we touched upon this idea earlier with the green apatite, funnily enough. Traditionally, apatite coming in those sort of neon or tropical blue tones, and we had the gorgeous forest green variety. Now, I think the same is true for your green amethyst, although probably tenfold, because amethyst is so much more well known across the industry, but traditionally people associate that purple colour tone with amethyst. Here you've got your pastel green. So the thing I love about this is that it's so different from the purple amethyst. It's not like you're getting a very bold green. You really get a pastel colour tone, don't you?
It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's like you say, it's a really soft, delicate colour. It's gorgeous.
It's almost the sort of colour tone you'd associate with Colombian emerald,
yes,
isn't it? Yeah, same kind of pastel hue. And here we've got your faceted rounds. Traditionally, green amethyst known as Praisiolite, so that might register with some buyers out there. These rondelles are a little more delicate. They range from 2x1 up to 4x2. But I have to say, you're getting a lot of gemstones on there because it's a 30cm strand, so you're getting a lot of gemstones there. And as you can see, for the next 60 minutes, my producer's just taking a little cheeky pound off that. Every little helps, as they say, at a big supermarket. But I think it's a pretty common phrase, isn't it? Because, you know, that can be added onto your P&P to cover the cost of your
If you got that bundle there, you could add that with that. That'd look great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Go in
That's
with
your
that
little transitional strand there, Janet.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're right. That works perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it'll go with all three of those again, won't it?
Well, it's got that soft pastel tone that will go with the rose quartz. It'll add that little bit of contrast with the more vivid green tones, and then pretty much. In fact, that's probably the best combination now that I look at it together. $6.95 is your price point for genuine green amethyst, and again, it might be that sort of introducing your customers to the alternative variety of amethyst might lead to greater sales. We're going to move on because so many people are adding that to their baskets, and we're now going to give you another opportunity to get hold of golden tiger's eye, this time in much more uniformed shapes and cuts. These are magnificent. These are gorgeous. Okay, so these are, I was just trying to count the sides, funnily enough. It's come up now. They're octagons, so they're slightly irregular, so you don't always get the actual the face of the gemstone, the exact, but they're 8-sided basically. You get over 100 carats here. They do look quite uniform though, don't they? I mean, it's not, you can't really pick out those irregularities until you start to mate with them. And I love, again, that beautiful colour combination between the sort of chestnut browns, those walnut colour tones, and then those very vivid golden shades that you get here. Another optical effect, not quite as dramatic as your labradorite, but you certainly can see that chatoyancy there. Look at that. It's this cat's eye-like effect that you get on this particular gemstone. Love this because very alternative banding on each and every gemstone, so it gives a different effect, a different dimension to the pieces you create when you're working with this gemstone. I mean, this for me could be the perfect accent gemstone, so this could go alongside something more significant, something that's going to offer you a little more impact, or of course, if you want that subtle look, these could work on their own as well. Beautiful thing about golden tiger's eye is that once again, they actually go with so many different metal tones, so you get the contrast when you put them alongside your silver. Then of course, that warmth can be mirrored in your rose gold, and of course, the yellow gold's going to work because that's the colour tone that you see with the optical effect. These have never been available as an individual item previously, so if you do want to get these in your order, this is your best opportunity. And here comes your price point for over 100 carats. There you go. Another add it to your order price this evening, just $6.95 for 110 carats of golden tiger's eye in your 8x10mm octagon cuts. And I have to say, have a look at these. If you do want to keep your design quite simple, you can just put these alongside your head pins. Of course, we're going to give you a chance to get hold of these star and heart-shaped head pins in just a couple of minutes' time, so don't panic, the superstar buy is yet to come. We're going to move on from this one. It is available right now at the add it to your order price of just $6.95, and we're going to give you another opportunity to invest in your seed beads this evening. We saw something quite similar in your aquamarine earlier, but it had more of an opaque finish. This offers you the clarity, but with the same colour tone. These are your 2mm rounds of apatite. This has been a bit of an apatite show, really, hasn't it? We've had fantastic examples, I have to say, and I'm glad actually, because I don't know if any other presenters or designers have noticed this trend of apatite being used, but I'm I'm hot on the current fashion trends, so don't listen to these women, listen to the big dog. I'm only joking, of course. They're probably more knowledgeable about these kind of things traditionally, but I have noticed Apatite becoming very, very popular in the jewellery market. And now we've got your 2mm rounds here. Again, you've got that sort of swimming pool blue here. It's a little more subtle because of the clarity and the cut, of course, but we know how useful these particular sizes are because they're so delicate and they lend themselves to so many different jewellery making disciplines. So your soutache, your wire work, your bead loom, that Kumihimo, micro macrame, the list goes on, and of course classic beady beads as well. For me, it's all about the delicate nature of these cuts, and you can imagine how difficult it is to create a 2mm perfect round. The price point's never going to be reflective of what we're offering you here, and it absolutely isn't. Just $7.95 for gorgeous Apatite here in your 2mm rounds. As ever, get involved early to avoid disappointment, and you can add your gorgeous seedy beads to your order. Lots of people coming through on JewelleryMaker.com. Again, don't forget to check out your baskets. You only ever get 60 minutes, but I would probably check out as you move along to avoid missing out on any of these deals. And don't worry, because we are now going to bring you our head pin deals as a superstar buy. Welcome back to Jewellery Maker. Time now for our superstar buy, and we've actually got a double superstar buy this evening. They will be back to back, and they're virtually the same item, but with a little twist on them. So we'll start with the stars. So what we're bringing you is a wholesale deal on your head pins. Everybody's going to need head pins. They're an essential component piece for all jewellery makers. Sort of the mechanics of your design traditionally, but when you're getting head pins that actually have a little bit of character, a little bit of a feature to them, then you can use them in probably more experimental ways and to add value, not just to the actual overall design, but the actual design process, so it can take you in different directions, can it, Janet?
Yeah, definitely. And I think to have a stash of head pins, and especially with this lovely design on them, is for me an essential. You know, you're always going to want head pins, and they just, like you say, they just help that design process really. Absolutely. And they add features to your designs, and it's great.
It can be a little bit more difficult to incorporate gemstone features into your design, but of course if the essential head pin's doing it for you, like you said, it just takes that element away from the actual design process. Now, I always touch upon this when we're selling essential findings, and it is a key consideration, particularly for jewellery makers who have been with us from day one. We only ever had one findings option when we first launched, and that was the sort of findings pack that came with the kit. It was all sterling silver, so there was no variation in the price, and it had something, you know, for all the designs you need, so very limited in the number of designs you could create. Nowadays, thanks to your loyal customer, we have this magnificent buying power, and we've put it to great use because we pass the savings on to you by offering you wholesale deals. We know now that there are so many jewellery makers out there who are starting to turn their hobby into a small business, and you need to be, I suppose, buying in wholesale numbers to make your designs very, very cost effective, and therefore maximising on the profit you can make. Now, from the first day I started working on the channel, every single guest designer has always commented on the fact that stars and hearts sell. That's the bottom line. Yeah. They're iconic shapes that attract attention to your designs, and again, I suppose they make people feel a little bit more comfortable in investing in a bespoke design because you're still offering them traditional looks.
Yes, yeah. But like you say, stars and hearts are always popular in jewellery designs, and this is your way of adding them in without too much work, really.
Yeah, basically, they're a time saver, but it's built in to the essential component that you need in your design. Now you get 100 of these as part of this particular deal. These are gold-plated copper, so again, precious metal. You've got the base metal there, so a bit more malleable. You can afford to be a little bit, maybe a little bit more robust in the way you use them, but you've still got that high-end finish.
Definitely.
I'll be interested to ask this question actually. When you're selling a design and it's a precious metal on top of a base metal, how do you sort of advertise that to your customers? How do you get that across, do you think? Well,
I think if you're doing a craft fair, you need to have things sort of labelled, and you need to be clear with people sort of what it is that you're offering. And I always say that it's, you know, that it is gold-plated, it's gold-plated copper.
Yes.
And explain that process to the customer.
Got you.
And you know, 9 times out of 10, people are more than happy with the gold plating. Obviously, there are some people that will want to go.
Yes, they want the sterling silver. Then they're not necessarily going to invest in that design. But of course, that's when you bring out your sterling silver design and say, if you look at the sterling silver, I've got that as well.
But the majority of people, you know, you explain that process to them, and yeah, so I think it's just, you know, you be clear with people what it is that you're offering.
So basically, just be honest. That's the best. Honesty is the best policy, as with anything. But I don't think the base metal of copper detracts, because that is quite common in craft fair circles.
No, you know, I mean, copper wire. People are making, you know, without any plating on. You're just using the base copper. To make designs and things. So copper, gold on copper is you know,
actually sorted.
It's up there,
I suppose. Yeah, there you go. Okay, we're going to have to bring the price on screen because there's so many people multi-buying this. I'm not surprised. 100 star-shaped head pins for $6.95, and actually you can see the quality of that plating. You know, it's not a thin micron thickness of plating there, because you look at that metallic sheen that you get in there when the light hits those gorgeous stars.
And that's another thing, they are great quality, and because you've got that star and that heart shape at the end, if you put them in earrings, they are going to catch the light.
Absolutely.
That little shape is going to catch the light.
So again, adding value and attracting attention to your pieces. I'm going to have to move those graphics to the bottom of the screen. There is still some in stock, so you can continue to add those to your order, but we do have to move on because we now have the heart variety. Now, of course, stars are always going to be popular because it's another iconic image, but I do think that probably the most traditional shape in jewellery design is the heart. It's synonymous not just with romance, but with all aspects of love. And I have to say, this design for me really highlights the way that you can use these head pins to enhance a design without necessarily adding too much sort of, you know, you don't have to go above and beyond with the metal. You don't have to do too much work. These are quite simple wrap loops. And
that's the thing, you know, they're head pins, but you can do so much with them. You can make earring findings out of them, as we've done with those. You can just wrap them and drop them in between gemstones. There's so much you can do with them to make a feature of them.
So this is all just one flowing finding, a classic pair of shepherd hooks, but this actually forms your stopper or your crimp, if you like.
And that's the thing, they are a mechanic. A head pin is seen as a mechanic in jewellery making. But it doesn't only have to be a mechanic, it can be a feature of your design as well.
Particularly when you've got these iconic shapes like your heart. We are going to honour the price for the heart-shaped ones, despite the fact that people are literally flying in and buying these hand over fist. Lots of people taking 2s and 3s, even somebody getting 4 there, so congratulations. 400 head pins heading your way. But I suppose at that price, you can't have too many.
You can never have enough head pins.
Absolutely not. And of course, because you've got the base metal, if you do want to be a little bit more experimental in the techniques you're trying, you can afford to do that with the copper.
At that price, you can experiment with things, can't you?
Absolutely good. Well, you've been using these throughout the show, haven't you? So you've used them on this design as well. Oh, I love that. So similar to the star one, but with the heart-shaped ones there. That's great, gorgeous. And I love that little cascade star. Those would be really popular. I think like teenagers, that a bit more of a contemporary design maybe, sort of festival gowns, things like that. And then this is the Cheryl Cole asymmetrical necklace. Love it.
But again, it's just using that head pin as a feature in your design, and yeah, I think they're lovely. I think they're beautiful.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with these because you're gonna need head pins. They're gold-plated copper, and you've got this gorgeous bit of character from the heart or star shape. The stars available at the bottom of the screen, and you can have both of these to your order for $6.95. Lots of familiar names coming through that I saw on the stars, so I think people are taking both probably. If you do want to add these to your order, sorry, I don't know why I can't hold that straight. If you do want to add these to your order, you do need to be acting with a little bit of haste because there's so many people with this placed in their basket now. Make sure you check out in the next 60 minutes to avoid disappointment, and I'll probably just do it now, otherwise the phone buyers may nab your 100 star or heart shaped head pins. I'm going to leave it there because we are approaching the end of the show. Just enough time to thank the gorgeous Janet. You all right?
Thank you, Ed. Yeah.
Your designs are amazing, and yeah, great to have a little bit of inspiration, but also your insights into, you know, the different ways that people can develop their hobby and start selling their designs.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, Jones. Thanks to the guys, of course, Bruce for his amazing inspiration this evening. He's really been getting in tune with his jewellery designing. Liam for all the prices. Sam, our tech op. We put up with Pete as well. I'm sorry, Pete's the man. Just enough time for me to say thank you for joining us. Thank you and good night.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Designer Inspiration. Thank you genuinely so much for joining us today, and trust me, you are not going to be sorry you did. If you've been watching the morning show, if you liked what they've done on there, well, for a whole section of today's show, the clearance continues with a section where everything won't just be under £20, won't even just be under £15, under £10 section for you today. And guess what? I have got special pieces in there, including another one of your favourites, gem collector pieces. Welcome to Designer Inspiration, and thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I tell you what, it's a really special day because today I have got a craft fair special. So if you're one of those people who